Hello and welcome to Flix and Chill with me, Luke,
And Shane.
and today this is the first ever episode. We have a guest, so we know him. He's a friend of ours, but he's also kind of our boss. He's our fearless leader, as
Yo,
He
Shane
is
likes to
the
call him.
yo,
fearless leader
yo,
of the SPDM Crew
Yes,
Podcasting Network.
we salute to Mike Hilty being back on this podcast. Mike, hello.
fearless leader is fine. Boss?
Yes, boss. What do you mean?
I kind of like it. But all of this
Can
to
we
say,
say it like in Storks, where it's like, and he's going to be the
the
boss,
boss.
and never actually finish the word?
Nice. Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah,
Nice.
it's all good.
It's nice to have you, Mike.
Thanks for inviting me on. Glad to be back. Luke, it's been way too long since we recorded.
hmm
I say that every time we record, so glad to see that I can keep the streak in tradition.
Yes, and I always like to talk to you, so no, honor is all ours. So today we're gonna do our usual shtick. So I either rant about something or rave about something. Then maybe one or two pop culture news because our big topic, and it's three of us and we can yap, will be top seven, and we'll see how that goes. Movies that never been nominated for Best Picture. And then we'll have one wild card for a director, one wild card for an actor, and just one wild card in general. Anything goes where we can think, mention anything or anybody who we thought, hi, how does this person never been nominated or this movie never been nominated? So before that, Mike, as a guest, why don't you start? Is there something you want to rant or rave about?
Okay, so I'm gonna rant about something because as a parent, one of the things that we have to do is that we have to balance all of like streaming service, what we want to subscribe.
hmm
And a large part of that has to do with what my kids watch, what me and my wife watch, but then the other part, the price. And at the end of the day, for Netflix to increase their price again for their content, which for the most part, their content is perfectly fine.
hmm
And but that K-pop Demon Hunter, the fact that K-pop Demon Hunter blew up the way that it did, that in April of 2026, which is almost a full calendar year since the release, McDonald's decides to do a promotion for K-pop Demon Hunter stuff. Netflix just tried to buy Warner Brothers. They're going to get billions of dollars because that deal fell through. And yet, at the end of the day, they still feel the need to increase their prices on us.
hmm
So I'm calling out Netflix for increasing their prices on us again for the same content, same old stuff, and it is getting dangerously close to, is this worth us continuing to subscribe to Netflix
Yeah.
for this?
hmm
If anything, looking to maybe even do the ad free or the ad version of Netflix. But here's a quick rant about privilege as well.
Okay.
My kids, we recently watched a movie on Peacock. We watched Labyrinth.
Mm.
That's a weird one to watch for a 3-year-old, and the 9-year-old loved it. The 3-year-old was like, "What is this? Like what is happening?"
hmm
But for Peacock, we have an ad version of it because we get it for free from Comcast.
hmm
Well, when the ads came on, they were like, "Why do these ads come on at the most inopportune time?" And me and my wife are like, poor children." It's the same thing with the radio as
hmm
well. It's like, wait, I can't just pick what song I listen to on the radio. I just have to wait. Like the privilege that those kids have. But all of this to say, Netflix,
hmm
why are we increasing our price? And I get it, production costs have gone up and like that, but
It's our fault. Like,
you're yeah, it's not our fault that the Electric State cost so much money and was not a good movie.
hmm
So I don't know. It's annoying that all of that stuff gets passed to the subscriber for Netflix's poor decision making, even though they're going to get this, like, it's billions.
hmm
Not just like $1 billion. They're gonna get a couple $1 billion for this like breakup fee with Warner Brothers, which allegedly Paramount is like, yeah, we'll pay for it.
hmm
How on earth are you all going to pay for all of
Loans.
this? Well, yeah,
Loans.
it's all going to be Saudi money. That's it.
yep.
So I don't know. I'm just
Welcome to
frustrated.
America, sponsored to you by Saudi Arabia.
Well, soon, welcome to capitalism, sponsored by this this country. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
would like to ask. I agree with everything you said, Mike. Like, yeah, I would like to ask which of your daughters has such a great vocabulary that they said inopportune time. Like, I was like, damn, 9-year-old says that. I feel very dumb.
the 9-year-old, she is
Wow.
she's been in theater since she was 4, so her vocabulary has exploded.
Wow.
She was in a production of where she had a bunch of what is this like?
Hmm.
Did you also have to talk like this back then and do it in the newsy?
Yeah, she had to do it in newsy speak, and good job. She started off with the newsy speak, but then part of the way through she was
Well,
this is
Mike,
not
if you want to
working.
be a responsible parent and have her watch something where she could hear that kind of voice a lot, you should just throw on South Park.
Hmm. I'm sure they would love it.
That is not a serious recommendation, just to be clear.
It's semi-serious
But
for me.
to be fair, I did watch South Park when I was 6. So, and you can blame my stepbro.
I did watch South Park, from the jump. I was
Hmm.
over 10
See.
when that. So my daughter's 9, so I don't know. Her and I watched the last episode of Paradise season 2
Mm.
together. So we're getting to the point where she's gonna start to watch like actual TV with me instead of what she's currently watching now, which is Victorious.
Mhm.
So, first, Netflix is the market leader in
Mhm.
streaming, and they set the tone. If Netflix gets away with it, everybody else is going to do it, and they
Mhm.
all do.
Yep.
And it's super frustrating
Yep.
because they want to keep ballooning budgets and stuff like that for nonsense. And then there's so many aspects of entertainment that are trying to price people out of being able to enjoy entertainment.
Mhm.
Like streaming services. I, as a baseball fan, I have Peacock, and I'm supposed to be able to stream NBC channels just as part of the streaming service. To find out that I have to pay $25 extra a month to be able to watch the Phillies on NBC. I'm like, what? So ridiculous. Speaking of the Phillies, it cost me $46 to get a nosebleed seat, and that was the cheapest seat in the stadium to watch the Diamondbacks play next weekend. It's just it's unsustainable.
Mhm.
And like when did baseball become opera where I have to pay like hundreds of dollars for a ticket? And when did, streaming services, like, I will admit I pay for probably way too many streaming services, but like
We all do. We all
they,
do,
Yes.
they're
plain and
more
Yes.
simple.
they are more expensive combined than cable is now
Mhm.
Mhm.
at this point, and like by a lot.
Yep.
And this is
And
why
it's just
this
like,
generation is sorry to interrupt. This is why this generation is now more and more, being informed about different kinds of procuring your TV shows or movies, let's say. My
or
generation,
they just turn to TikTok
oh
and
yeah,
watch short form stuff that's free.
because like Shane and I, we are the same generation. So we grew up in a piracy era, and if you can afford it, there was different ways. However,
Mhm.
there's a generation younger than us that for their most of their life, streaming was available, streaming was there, streaming was cheaper than learning to do certain things, how to get your latest seasons or latest movies, or not even latest, just movies and TV shows in general. And now, with everything being split across several different streaming services and new ones still popping up, and their costs, being, hey, we need to increase the prices because reason. More and more people are like, hey, how do I build a home server? What is Plex? What is torrent? What is VPN?
Mhm.
And to your point, Mike, about ads, I've just set up my own V home server here. And if you have the time and a bit of IT knowledge, I would strongly recommend every household running a software called Pi-hole. It's a wee bit of software that just catches all the ads network free, or sorry, on a network level on all your devices. Like, it doesn't work for some of the streaming services because they obviously are a bit too smart for it, so they give you
Probably
ads from
Netflix.
the same domain. However, there's a one streaming service in the UK that still haven't figured it out. So my wife
Mhm.
is watching that streaming service now ad free as if she was paying for the ad free
Nice.
version. And some I think still work. Like, I know YouTube doesn't work. Last time I checked, Disney actually worked with it, but I think they gotten a bit too smart now. So I would recommend.
I will keep that in mind and
Hmm.
looking forward to trying anything that I can for ad free. But I love that the whole discourse behind quote unquote cutting the cord
Hmm.
has now been like, well, we're cutting the cord so that we could save money, and now
It's a
we're
wireless
spending way
cord.
more money
Yeah.
on our entertainment,
Hmm.
which however we consume our entertainment now, it's not immune to rising costs, just like so.
Sure. Right?
Right.
That's yeah. What about you, Shane?
That time. So I'm really trying to get back into better health and
Hmm.
better shape. And 2 weeks ago, felt the best that I had since like October. And I had a long week. And I was on campus until like 9:45 on Monday, almost 8 o'clock on Tuesday, 9:30 on Thursday. But a long week.
Hmm.
And I'll admit, between stress, some disappointment, and just convenience, I didn't eat the best. And what I'd like to rant about is that my body at almost 35 years old wants me to vomit lava now anytime that I cheat. And heartburn's not great, and I
Hmm.
hate it.
Heartburn's
And the fact that the second you turn 30, you can't eat out without feeling like shit. So, yeah, I don't like what your body does to you when you turn 30. And I feel like a lot of my rants are just going to be a variation of this and different things. But God, my wife and I did our calendar for the month, and I just looked at the month of April. I'm like, this is going to be a long month. And I knew going in, because it's the last month of the school year, I'm going to do my best.
I'm
Hmm.
telling you, man,
But
omeprazole, like one tablet of omeprazole to get you through an entire day.
Is
Heartburn.
is this a medical advice, Mike?
Uh,
no, this is a new ad here on Flix and
I was gonna
Chill.
say we have a new sponsor, I hear.
I
Hey,
I
I'd
don't I don't know the commercial name for it, but like acetaminophen name for it is omeprazole. So
Hmm.
I am not delving out medical advice. I'm just letting you know that's what I
Hmm.
do. So,
Hmm.
and it's over the counter, so you don't have to get a prescription for it.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'll look into that, Mike. And also, if producer of this drug wants to sponsor Flix and Chill, we will pour ourselves out for some money. So thank you very much.
I mean, big pharma, have poured money into so many things. Might as well like this one wee podcast, like
Hey, if they want to support all kinds of horrible things, why don't you support something nice like this?
Yeah,
correct.
something with ambition and something that is trying to have something to say.
Hey,
So
you just
And
described
we all
me.
hope that you tune in next week for Flix and Chill, sponsored by Saudi Arabia.
Oil, baby, oil. Except
it's
now, lack of oil because one president's like, "Hey, we're gonna attack one country," and they close the Strait of Hormuz because
Luke,
of that.
don't make me rant about another thing because I'm paying almost $4 for a tank of gas when it was 260 like a month ago.
yep,
Yeah,
yep.
here it's the same. Like diesel here, it's almost at £2 per gallon, and petrol is like 158 or like 155, something crazy. And usually, like 2 months ago, it was like 135, 39-ish. So like
Mhm.
post-pandemic, it was always around that range. But like there was no like swings and roundabouts like before pandemic, right after the pandemic. Now, so yeah, like so I drive past this petrol station on my way from work, and I'm like 155. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, I know why it's happening. I don't like it.
Well, I don't get it. Like in the US, didn't we get Venezuelan oil? Like what
Not
is
yet.
Yeah,
happening right
where's
now?
that Venezuelan oil?
So
Yeah,
this
Where's
is
where
that money
different.
go to?
So this is the different oil. So did you know there's a several types of oil. There's a crude oil, and the crude oil, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not an expert, but if I'm not mistaken, crude oil cannot be used as a actual fuel like petrol. That's processed for many things. You
are
can
you
make
get
many other things from
are you
it.
giving us energy advice now? Are you authorized for energy
Big,
advice?
yeah,
If I'm gonna
I'm
get shit
sponsored
for
by Big Energy
giving
Money.
medical,
Yes,
oh, there we go.
Big Energy.
I'm sponsored by
Welcome
Big
to Flix and
Pharma.
Chill, sponsored by Venezuelan oil.
But no, apparently, like that's the yeah. And what Iran has closed is like mostly the actual petrol we use for our cars. And I'm like, ah, shit.
Well, we all know where the money's going. But
Uh,
anyway,
uh, Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Definitely not one family getting richer and richer. But yeah, my rant is kind of blended with the pop culture news. Like it's something tiny. I just was like, why are people mad? So there's the new Lord of the Rings Hunt for Golem movie
Hmm.
gonna be made.
Yes.
Well, gonna be made. So like and they've released a news that they're gonna recast Aragorn. So Viggo Mortensen is not coming back, and people are sad and mad. And I'm like, Viggo Mortensen, in all due respect, he is not the youngest. And this is not rant about Viggo Mortensen being old. This is more like, guys, Hollywood will make remakes of every single movie or franchise or a trilogy or whatever you love, right? Do we like we cannot prevent it. It's gonna happen. I think I don't know where you guys stand, but for my money, if they need to do this, I don't want them. I don't want the original people to come back being old, and because usually it's like the same formula. I'm old and grumpy now because I'm old and grumpy. I've made many mistakes in my life, and this is what we have now. I'm like, no, if we need to do remakes, reimaginings, and all that, okay, recast the role. It's fine. Like I don't like, and we don't need the original actors to come back. It would be nice for them to give their blessing, but realistically, Hollywood doesn't care. So like they'll do it. So that was my very quick rant about like, did you really expect Viggo Mortensen to come back as Aragorn?
My thoughts on this specific
Mm-hmm.
situation are no. If like don't bring Viggo Mortensen back at
Yeah.
60 something years old to
Mhm.
play this role when like here's the thing. They de-age him. People complain about the CGI and them de-aging
And
him.
fuck that.
Two, they edit a crap ton and chop up the action because they need to use a bunch of stun double. Then they're going to complain about that. Like, I know they're bringing back Ian McKellen, who is
Yeah.
literally playing an ancient wizard. So, like, come now. So, whatever. And apparently, Elijah Wood is coming
Yes.
back, but he also still looks like he could.
I mean, yeah,
Like, that man, shave him, and he probably hasn't looked like he's aged much, to
yes,
be honest. This particular situation, people just need to get over the fact that, like, yes, they're gonna have to recast Aragorn for this specific movie. It's a whole other rant on like why the hell are we adapting a
yes.
footnote from Fellowship of the Ring, or like I think it was like a paragraph or two from
But
Fellowship of the Ring into a movie.
that is
Search,
what they do for Lord of the
search for
Rings.
Yeah,
money. Search for
apparently.
more money. Just ask Mel Brooks, okay?
Apparently, like they should adapt Lord of the Rings, the Third Age video game instead. That would, but whatever.
That makes far too much sense. But also with Rings of Power and War of the Rohirrim, it's pretty clear that if it doesn't involve the ring or if it doesn't, involve like our, main core of characters, nobody cares about that, which is sad because there's a lot of story to tell, but people are like, wait, what is this? It's
Mhm,
it's like it's like the people who are like, wait, there's no lightsabers in this for Star Wars. Why should I be interested
mhm.
in this? Why should I watch Andor? It's like because it's the
Wait,
best thing
is
that Star
anybody
Wars has
named
ever done.
Skywalker in this?
Ugh, no. Like my only counterpoint
Mhm.
to what you just said, Shane, was the Ian McKellen thing. But also at the same time, Gandalf is not exactly known for his sword fighting abilities, and
Like, you
there's
know, he's going to be in this movie for like 10 minutes.
I
So,
would say
like,
even five, if maybe
yeah.
five. Realistically, like it's gonna be like a glorified cameo. Hey guys, I've returned. Okay, bye.
okay, bye.
Aragorn, I have this mission for you.
Hmm.
Opening scene, and then not in the whole rest of the movie.
And then like ending
Maybe at the
scene,
very
like
end.
he comes back. I'm glad you did that. You did very well. Thank you.
It was like I watched this random Western earlier this year, and they advertised William H. Macy's in it.
Hmm.
And he's in the opening scene basically giving the main character his like mission, and
Hmm.
I just turned to Jess and I'm just like, William H. Macy isn't in the rest of this movie.
Hmm.
Like, this movie's 2 hours and 10 minutes. I can guarantee you he doesn't show up again. And spoiler alert to a Western that none of you have seen, didn't.
Hmm.
So there we go.
Do any of you guys have any pop culture news you want to discuss?
So I just want to point out, so you know
Hmm.
how like what was it, 2 weeks ago they announced Ryan Gosling was going to be in the new Daniels film,
I
and
was
everybody's
thinking
like,
about
"Yay!"
I was thinking
And
about the
then
same thing.
Already
yesterday
out, yeah.
he pulled out.
Was it even two
This
weeks
is
ago?
maybe it was even a week. I don't know.
Like it was a very
And
short time span, yes.
yeah, so this is my thing. We are in a society
We do live in a society.
that focuses way too much on pop culture news and insider baseball of how casting and all these things. We didn't need to know that Ryan Gosling got cast in the Daniels next film a week ago. Because you know what? Tons of these things don't even happen.
Mhm.
Like, why do we need to make a big to do about this? Because people need clicks on a website somewhere, or views on a YouTube video, or, views on a TikTok video at some point. And it's just like, just let people like do the thing, and then we'll find out when like a trailer releases or it gets a release date or something. I just feel like it's a bit of a microcosm of we hyperfixate too much on any little casting news of literally everything. And a bunch of the times that doesn't even happen. If
Mhm.
I had $1 for every time a Guillermo del Toro film was announced that he was was involved in a project, I
Mhm.
could retire
Yep.
at 34 years old
Yep.
in the United
Yep.
States in 2026. And that's a big deal. It's a lot of money.
Hmm.
So,
But how else would you build up a hype, Shane? You
It's all
know,
about the hype.
because like literally, like I'm not even being cheeky now. Like
Yeah.
I've have heard, I'm sure you have also, so many interviews with actors, directors, all kinds of like professionals in a Hollywood in that kind of industry, and how it's sad that it's a legitimate question of young people mainly. How many Instagram followers do you have? How many TikTok followers? Like if there's a young up and coming actor or actress, apparently that's now a very valid question. How big is your social media following? So to your point, why do we do this? For exactly that.
oh,
For the
I know
clicks. Yeah, so for
why
the
it's
but it's
it's
mad.
obnoxious.
No, it is. Also, like that makes me wonder, like what happened there. Like I actually was gonna maybe bring it up. I was like, you know what? But okay, you brought it up. What the fuck happened there? Like he signed up on, like did he sign up for something before reading the script? Read the script, was like, this is too fucking weird. I'm out. Or were they like trying to hype up the movie that's not even made yet? Like, hey, this is actually happening, so let's make this stunt. Like
Maybe something worked out with
yeah,
like, he has a contract with
schedule, yeah.
Disney. So like I don't know if something with his like a Star Wars
Mm-hmm.
follow-up
Mm-hmm.
or there's long gestating talks with Marvel
Mm-hmm.
materialized or something or other.
Now when he's a
But something happened.
star of a a blockbuster, Project Hail Mary,
Yeah. Or they certainly wanted to announce him being cast in that movie because Project Hail Mary's blowing up at the box office. So like
hmm
it just so it's like they're not even trying to hide just how obnoxiously money grubbing all this is. And it's not a good look,
nope.
Mm.
entertainment industry. It's not a good look. You look desperate.
hmm hmm
Yeah,
And
whatever.
if I ever learned anything from my desperate days of being a young man, you looking like you're trying too hard doesn't work out for you.
Correct.
Accurate.
Just
Mhm.
ask
So
Bradley
there you go.
Cooper.
Damn.
And by the way, this is not to shit on Bradley Cooper. I actually like him, but like with his last movie, him trying desperately hard for that Oscar, I'm like, dude, we
Maestro
already
tried too hard.
yes.
Um,
Haven't
his
seen it.
most
Is this
recent
still
movie where
on?
he made fun of himself, I
I haven't
thought
seen it
like
yet, so yeah.
he course corrected
Okay,
by
okay.
literally making fun of himself as the
Because
character he plays in it.
as somebody who listens to quite a few movie podcasts and him being on there talking about Maestro specifically, I'm like, oh my God,
I was
dude,
like, is this man
no,
okay?
dude, like we get it. You're a serious director now. You getting calls from Spielberg. We get it. Okay, we get it. Like, tone it down a bit. We already like you. Like, like you're balancing on a very, like, it's a balancing
You
act.
know, you know why Elle Fanning has such a humongous crush on Jack Black is
Tell me.
because he is completely comfortable in his skin and doing his thing and doesn't care what anybody else thinks. So
That
there
video
you
of
go.
her and Dakota Fanning taking the detector, I actually watched, because of that clip, I actually watched the entire thing. Their relationship is so A, so sweet, and B, for both of them being brought up in this industry, and for both of them seemingly like growing into these like well-rounded women, like my head is off to their parents and all their like support system because they by all accounts seem like normal and then like they had a happy childhood and they were shielded from many bad things. So
Hey,
good on
they're
their
normal people.
parents.
They love Jack Black too.
No, yeah, so good on their parents, and like Elle Fanning seems she's slowly becoming one of my favorite actresses to follow because like she's taking on more and more interesting roles, and people are finally waking up like, hey, she actually has talent. So I was like, yes, 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 good. What about you, Mike? Do you have anything you want to discuss pop culture wise?
I recently heard that Academy Award winning writer, producer, Ryan Coogler is looking to an Animorphs TV series.
Mm-hmm.
And look, if this true, it does come to fruition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm all here for it.
Mm-hmm.
I do find it hilarious that Nikki Glazer's joke at the Golden Globes does hold true. It's like we've got all these movie stars in the audience, and then she mentions, and then there's all these like TV stars, and mentions the same three people. It's like get out of my TV show space. Like, come on, like
Mm-hmm.
stay in your lane, dude. But no, if that
Because he's
is
doing
the
the X-Files too.
Yep.
he is doing the X
So,
Files, and that's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be awesome, but it's gonna be crazy. But I'm very much looking forward to if he does produce an Animorphs TV show. I'm looking forward to like a good one because the original TV show for it was good. So
what do you mean with all those amazing 90s special effects?
I mean, just like the Goosebumps TV show of like that wasn't good either. It got us through.
Aw.
It got us through. That's all it needs to do.
So I had to look it
There-
up because I was like, have I even seen it? I don't think I've seen this. I'm just looking on IMDb and this looks fucking creepy.
Oh, I read the books and watched the show.
Okay.
I loved those books growing up.
Yep.
But
It is
looking
about
at that, Ryan Coogler, please take it. Yes, please make it. Like, because if anybody can make it weird and interesting and bizarre and actually gets me to watch it, it will be him. Because
it would
let
be
that man do anything he wants. And
yes.
and X-Files, like
Cut him that blank check and just let him
yeah.
cook.
Well, the X-Files casting just was announced, and I was like, damn, two capable actors been cast. I was like,
Who?
it's I'm blanking on their names.
Was it Himesh Patel?
Hamesh Patel and the one that was supposed to be nominated like 2 years ago for Till. What's her name?
Oh,
Oh,
Danielle
Danielle
Deadwyler,
Deadwyler.
Yeah. So she is the main
who's
female lead.
great on the
Yeah.
show Rooster with Steve Carell.
I haven't watched that, so I wouldn't know.
It's a funny show.
Yeah.
From Bill Lawrence, who's having a minute.
He's gonna have a
Drinking,
good year.
Scrubs, Rooster.
Ted Lasso allegedly sometime soon, so
Oh,
Yeah.
that is coming September, no? I thought that was confirmed. Like,
I'll believe it when I see it.
Honestly, I can't look past next week because, like, as we're recording, we got The Boys,
yep.
Hacks, and I think one other. I'm like, holy shit!
The final season
Like-
of The Boys, yeah.
Yeah, and they got the new Darth Maul show starring on Disney Plus. I'm like,
And that was already, by the way, have you seen that? That was already announced. Oh yeah, there's gonna be a second season. And I'm like, wait, have I missed that it's already came out? Like, did it do so
comes
well?
out Monday.
I was like, what? And people in the comments were the same. I'm like, has this show even came out? I was like, thank you. Okay, I'm not the only confused person here.
There are some TV shows that get renewed before
Yeah.
they
Mhm.
I don't see that very often with a Star Wars show.
Mhm.
You don't see that very often with an animated show,
Mhm.
and you don't see that very often with a Disney Plus show. Disney Plus takes forever to renew their stuff, or
guess
at least
they
they
have-
get the news out that like, hey, it's been a couple of months, so we're just gonna let you know that the Acolyte's not coming.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Of all
Still
the
mad
things-
about it.
Of all the things that you possibly want to give a season two to, like that one might be one to at least give another shot to.
You can tease me with Darth Plagueis and then just casually be like, we're not going to give you any more.
Well, they can because it's Disney. So I guess I still haven't seen Acolyte. I need to get to it. Even though now knowing it's been canceled and it's only one
Well,
season.
Luke, you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it because I feel like that's the only
There's no
those are
in
your
between.
only two options with it.
Like realistically, I'm a big Disney person, and I'm or sorry, not Disney. well, Disney kind of Star Wars. So like I'm a more of a defender, even those shows people don't necessarily like. So I might actually like this one because Star Wars is my sweet blind spot, you might say. So for some people it's Pixar movies, and for some people like me, it's Star Wars. So even the mediocre ones or not so very good ones, I'm like I can still find something to like about them. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 no.
But I think we've covered quite a few pop culture things.
Mhm.
So I
What a world we
think
live in.
what a world. That is true. Money, oil, and pharmacy. Yeah, pharmaceutical.
Battlestar
Pharma.
Galactica.
Yeah, Battlestar.
Bears, beats,
Beats,
Battlestar
yes. But I think we can jump to the big topic. So as a reminder, it's top seven movies. They never been nominated for a Best Picture. And let's do it like this. Since Mike is our guest, you can go first. Then Shane goes, and then I'll go. Because I have about 12 movies, so I hope you will knock some of these off my list. So, Mike,
Are we
I have
doing
about
any kind of punt rule?
I think we can just do. Oh, this was on my list, and we can talk about it now. Like, you will talk
Okay,
about it also. But I don't
we play
think.
the ball where
Yeah.
it lies.
Because I don't actually have them. I don't know about you guys. I don't know how you have it ranked because I don't actually have them ranked. I just. So.
I have mine
Oh,
ranked, even
I was
though
going 7-1.
okay, okay. So I'm more fluid. Nowadays everything is fluid. So my
okay.
ranking is also fluid.
Mhm.
But I was also going to ask, so before we get into the nitty-gritty of this, how did you actually decide on what is your list? What is on your list? Like, was it your personal favorites? Because like I was like, oh, why don't I just put top 10 movies of what I like and these should all be nominated? And I'm like, I decided on try to be like as culturally relevant as possible. So, this movie you still talk about, and can you believe this movie we all talk about has actually been not nominated for a Best Picture? How did you guys, did you do this, or is this mostly your favorite movie?
Yes.
I just went to my top my letterbox top 500
Okay,
list and just started going through and being like, that wasn't nominated for best picture.
so like obviously there's one that's like in my top three, but I genuinely tried my hardest. So like these are not even like my like favorite movies, but they are still I would consider like great movies. So this will be interesting. Okay, so Mike, why don't you kick us off?
So I think this one is probably, first of all, this was kind of a tricky exercise to
Hmm.
narrow it down to 10 and now
Yep.
7. I took a look at the movies that I liked, that I thought were culturally relevant, and it just made me scratch my head. It's like, really? Really? And kind of came to the same general conclusion that a lot of these are genre films that don't get a lot of love anyways at the Academy Awards, or they're blockbuster hits that the Academy doesn't consider prestigious enough,
Yes.
or anything like that. But one that I quite enjoy, and it kind of perplexes me a little bit that it never got a nomination for Best Picture. My number 7, I guess, was the Good, the Bad, the Ugly.
Yep.
On my list too.
Yeah.
Almost on mine. Almost on mine. Yes.
I
Go ahead, Shane.
No, you go, Mike.
I mean, given the cultural relevance of it, and just everything that it did for the Western genre, everything it did for even Clint Eastwood too. Yeah, like I don't understand how this could like sneak by, and like not even at a time when like this came out at a time where Westerns were still considered prestige movies, or at least a prestige genre, because Westerns were, a lot of Western were amongst better movies out there. So it's like, how did this one sneak by? Like, was it
Well,
was it too long? Is that the problem?
I think it's interesting because the 60s was actually a time where the influence of the Western on American cinema was waning, and you
Hmm.
Mhm.
started getting more revisionist Westerns like The Wild Bunch and stuff like that. And the spaghetti Western became such a big thing. And technically, like, this is an international film.
Yep.
So, like, international films were not like they didn't get Best Picture nom very often, and they're starting to now. And because like this was an Italian film,
Hmm.
they just redubbed the actors back in the movie when they released it here. And this really did revitalize the Western, the spaghetti Western. This is like the spaghetti western.
Hmm.
And Sergio Leone was an absolutely incredible filmmaker. And his work was really underappreciated and also really mangled by American studios and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And this is one of those types of films where it's just like it has become so iconic, but this probably wasn't even on the Academy's radar at
Nope.
that point. And it's a shame because it's an incredibly made film. And if you want to get into what it wasn't about anything, like this actually does have a lot to say about it tackled war and morality. And there's some powerful moments and also like the filmmaking chef's
Yep.
kiss.
Yep. To your point, Mike, like, oh, it has Clint Eastwood and, well, it has Clint Eastwood when before he became Clint Eastwood. These movies helped him become the Clint Eastwood we know until today because he's still alive. Because, yeah, like, he had to take
Still
these
kicking.
jobs outside of Hollywood because he couldn't, I don't know if he couldn't find or he was not as popular. Because, as Shane said, like, this is 66. So, it came out in 1966. So the Westerns were still popular-ish, but they were definitely on a decline. And so, Clint Eastwood was like, oh, they don't make them like this in Hollywood, so I guess I'll travel to Italy and make some of these, with Sergio Leone. But I'm looking at so I'm on an Oscars page. I'm going to be checking, and even the foreign language, films. There was one from France I've never heard of, A Man and a Woman, Battle of Algiers from Italy, Loves of a
Well,
Blonde.
that
Yep.
definitely got that spot then.
Loves
So
Loves of a Blonde from Czechoslovakia, Miloš Forman, Pharaoh from
nice.
Poland, and Three from Yugoslavia. So like I've heard of some of them, but like yeah, like even if just for international feature, I was surprised that it wasn't nominated at least there. So, but yeah,
Like
Sergio
it
Leone.
was foreign language film back then, right?
Yes.
And like I know this released in the United States with English dubbing and like the actual actors dubbing themselves. So it's a weird quote unquote international film
Yes.
in
Sure
that kind
is.
of sense. But no, I love this film. This is one of my favorite movies of all time,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
it is my second favorite Western of all time. Behind Unforgiven, which won Best Picture. So
Doesn't
that
qualify.
one actually won.
And
So
doesn't
and
so
got
therefore
nominated.
doesn't
So
qualify for this discussion.
for though does not qualify for this discussion.
So what is your number seven, Shane?
The Thing, also
Oh.
scored by Ennio Morricone, oddly enough. So
Hmm.
this is not a movie that was ever going to be nominated for an Oscar.
Nope.
John Carpenter is not a director that would be nominated for an Oscar because he I think is legitimately one of the greatest genre filmmakers of all time. He just had an understanding of how to make horror and science fiction and fantasy in interesting ways with no money.
Hmm.
So, and this film, is an incredible ensemble. Obviously, you have Kurt Russell there, and Keith David's famous now, but like I
Hmm.
don't think really Keith David had a whole lot of attention. Now, just a bunch of character actors, and it has this incredible special effects that is just absolutely mind blowing to watch now. But this is John Carpenter's best made film. Like this feels like it's incredibly well made and doesn't feel like a B movie, which most of his do. And I don't mean that as a insult because I love John Carpenter, but like this feels like there was some money thrown into it.
Hmm.
They were just very smart about it. And this film is insanely intense and so well put together. And I like to say one of the greatest one-liners of all time, where Kurt Russell was just like, "Well, F you." It's just the dynamite at the alien at the end.
Hmm.
Beautiful. And this movie should have been nominated. Well, Kurt Russell's beard and hair should have been nominated for an Oscar because it is just chef's
Peak.
kiss.
Peak 80s. That's
A
just
peak manly hair right
mm,
there.
mm,
And that man still got it. Still starred in Monarch. Watching that yesterday.
hmm.
The Thing. I love it. It's my second favorite horror film, and I'll talk about my first one in a bit.
Nice. What I will say with the thing, like recently, like last year or two, rewatched this on a 4K disc, and that 4K, the transfer is immaculate, and B, it just reminded me how, hey, just because your movie is mostly set in the night and dark, that doesn't mean me as a viewer cannot see shit. Like this movie is dark as fuck, both literally and physically, like actually,
Yeah.
but you can still see what is happening, and I miss when filmmakers actually gave a crap about lighting. And now, obviously, like I know it's moved to digital, so it's like it's different kind of lighting for like digital. It's not as easy, dirty, but you can figure it. Like John Carpenter figured it out, and this is the movie I always quote. If they can do it, modern way movies can also have a much better lighting, and night scenes and dark scenes can have some. But no, it's an excellent. Anything you want to add, Mike, for the thing?
Well, Shane, I kind of disagree with you that the Oscar, like, yes, the Oscars would never nominate John Carpenter for
Mhm.
director, but I did consider him for the director. Like, really, like for the thing or for Halloween. But those are two genres that just do not get Academy Awards love
Mhm.
at all, and I get it, and I strongly considered that as like the my one to be like,
Mhm.
give this guy a nomination or something. But yeah, that's the only thing. But otherwise, everything that
It's
you're
not
saying.
refined enough.
No, yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's beneath us.
Honestly, though, like you're gonna go tell people that nominated for like out of Africa to go nominate like the
Oscar
thing.
winning, not only Best Picture
Yeah.
nominated, Oscar Best Picture of that year, Shane.
Oh, I know what I mean, Luke.
Yep, yep.
So
So
Luke, what's your first one?
I'm thinking, so I'll do the big blockbustery things later because I think we might talk about a few of them. So my first thing would probably be, you know what? Let's keep on the theme of Ennio Morricone and let's mention the other spaghetti western. So Once Upon a Time in the West. That's the other Sergio Morricone. That's just if there's a movie that or movies that surpass, hey, this is not just a great western, but this is a great movie. And
Yep.
for me, we talked about this already, Shane, on a previous episode. For me, my favorite western, it's a flip of a coin between Once Upon a Time in the West and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And like any day, that coin can land either way. I would not be mad because both are excellent movies. For this one specifically, you have that haunting theme that's been used in so many like commercials and stuff. So it's kind of like when you actually see it in a movie, it doesn't have the same impact, or might not have the same impact. But you have Claudia Cardinal just looking breathtaking. You have Henry Fonda being
Yeah,
the bad guy, which was a revolutionary
he's
idea
so
at the
good.
time, and it was so good. I always quoted, the filmmaking just in that scene of where we hear harmonica. It's all dark, and then he swings the lantern
Yeah,
into the corner. The music swells up, and like we see the shadows, and it's like doo, 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 like, and it's just we see him for not for the first time, but like it's just that scene when I watched this movie for the first time when I was about 12, 13. Even my dumbass was like, "That this is fucking cinema." Like I know I'm watching something different than what I usually watch because this is fucking amazing. And
Mhm.
that movie, you can describe this entire almost 3 hour, or is it more than 3 hours? It's been a while since I watched it.
I think it's a rock solid just around three
Yeah,
hours.
I think it's
Oh,
also it's one of those that
it's
has
a
different cuts.
165 minutes, so it's what 245.
Yes, I think it's also one of those that has technically nice Shane showing us his what is it, DVD?
Extra thick DVD of Once Upon a
Earthy.
Time in
I like
Hollywood.
it.
Yeah. That's what she said.
It's what Haku said.
Haku. Who's Haku?
Luke, have you watched Samurai Jack?
No,
You should.
I know,
Whatcha?
I know. No, but it's no that. So to me, just the filmmaking in that movie, particularly the story, like there is like some one or two twists thrown your way as well.
Oh, that reveal at the end
Yep,
of who Harmonica really is an all-time
yep,
like twist reveal just from
yep.
like the filmmaking standpoint and the music. I'm just like, oh,
Like this is one of those like it feels like I know this is gonna sound stupid, but this feels like a complete movie. Like you're getting every single thing you can ask for within one movie. You get great cinematography. You get damsel in distress. That but she also like can fend for herself, being played by Claudia Cardinal in her prime, arguably. You get a actor who's known for mostly great guys, mostly like like heroes being a bad guy. You get this like rough around the edges guy who is the good guy at the end, and
It's
you get
Charles Bronson.
yes, and you get like you get a movie that takes its time, has some long shots, but it never bores you, or at least never bores me, and
Me neither.
pulling something like that off. Sergio Leone just yeah, one of my favorites.
So, where The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly has three iconic pieces of music in it, whether it's the theme, Ecstasy of Gold, and Il Triello when they're doing their standoff in the cemetery. This film has three incredible themes in it too. And the one that's just absolutely beautiful. This has one of the hardest lines I think a hero has ever dropped in a movie,
Mhm.
where the whole build up at the beginning, waiting for him to get off the train, and they're like, "Oh, looks like we didn't bring you a horse." They're like, "No, you brought two too many." I'm like, "Oh
Yeah,
shit!"
I just
Oh my god, it's incredible.
hmm
And Jason Robards' Diane is one of my favorite supporting characters in a movie. He's on Tuco level of almost stealing the whole entire show by
yeah.
just being that charismatic. And Jason Robards, who would, what, 10 years later win back-to-back Oscars for Best Supporting Actor. Man was a fantastic actor. This had a great cast.
hmm
And yes, Claudia Cardinale is a beautiful woman. And you want to know how you make audiences hate Henry Fonda? Have that man cold eyes stared shoot a kid dead. In the first scene they introduce him, I'm like, this is the juror number 7, or was it juror number 8? From 12 Angry Men.
hmm
This is like this is the guy from Grapes of Wrath just coming up and shooting a kid cold dead.
And there was the like I think Sergio Leone was openly talking about how yes, this he is a stereotypically good American, so that's why I casted him as a bad guy because nobody would expect that.
Well, and he was Henry Fonda was going to wear eye contacts. He's like, no, I want those piercing blue eyes to be
Yep,
staring dead at you. I'm like, it's great.
yep,
This I love Wes.
same, especially those two we just mentioned.
Yep. All
So
right, Mike, what do you got next?
My next one, I was thinking that this was going to be like the Christopher Nolan side of it. It's like which Christopher Nolan movie did I think was should have been nominated for Best Picture, but in the end it just turned out to be why wasn't The Dark Knight nominated for Best Picture?
mhm,
And
that's on my list.
it's
Yeah.
it's like it's because it's a superhero
Mhm,
movie.
mhm.
Like that's it. That's the only reason why. It's the reason why we have like 10 nominations and we're still not happy
Yeah.
with like with the ones that get nominated now. So
It's literally the reason because there was such a backlash. The next year they expanded it to 10, and ever since then we have 10 movies per year. So yeah,
Well, it's
10-ish,
always been
up to 10.
expanded.
Up to 10.
What
up to, yeah.
was it like 3 years ago? They made it that you had to nominate 10, and before that, it was some kind of mathematical
hmm
equation. It was between like 7 to 10 or whatever the hell it
hmm
was. And there were
Something
some
like that.
years where there's 8 or 9. But
hmm
yeah, math. Why
Yeah.
you came to Flix and Chill.
Yes.
Learn math.
Of course, of
But
course.
anyway,
But the fact that this made so much money, the legend that now is unfortunately Heath Ledger's timely, like untimely death,
hmm
like also properly recognized as like I still wonder if Heath Ledger hadn't have died, would he have won? Would he have been nominated? Yes, but would he have won?
I can answer it now. I think he would have, and we
Yeah.
probably how I know because they
What?
didn't do the same for Chadwick Boseman.
In
Because like I feel like that ultimately proved that like hey, Chadwick died and we planned this entire ceremony to honor him.
Mhm.
However, no, Anthony Hopkins will win it. And I'm
Yeah.
like I feel like
Yeah.
that like 2022 should have been
Mhm.
the like like end to that discussion. I think everybody knew he's gonna win.
And also why Best Picture should go on at the end of the show, no
Yes,
matter what.
No
yes.
matter
Like I
what.
still remember Alan Arkin having the envelope and winner, and there was no pause. Like winner is Heath Ledger. Like there was no single pause because everybody knew Heath Ledger will win.
So, but not just because it's a superhero movie, but also this thematically, also what this is telling us about chaos and, just the downfall of people that we idolize so much. And I don't know, it's elevated. Yet, like, has it aged well, or is it like still the movie that I think that it is? No, at the end of the day, it's lost some of its luster, but that doesn't change the fact that it's still one of the greatest, one of the great superhero movies, and like easily one of the best movies of that year. So for it to not even be nominated for Best Picture, insulting to say the least.
And even like it's a comic book adaptation that takes out all the really obscenely comic book kind of elements to it and strips it down and makes this an extremely this is as grounded as a man dressed up as a bat fighting a clown is gonna be, putting it that way. And impeccably directed. The whole cast is fantastic, acting wise, and it tells a really compelling story that honestly challenges some things with like Batman slightly leaning towards that like control fascist tendencies that he can have with the whole echolocation thing and people's phone, that moral quandary, and then just the Joker being this agent of chaos. And I want to know what the hell happened to Aaron Eckhart and what he did to Hollywood. Because like he's a really talented actor and a lot more like working in a lot more bigger movies than he is at this point. Instead of, I think the biggest movie he's done in the past 10 years was Sully,
Mm.
and
It
he was
is
Tom Hanks' co-pilot.
it is weird that Hollywood tried to jam Jai Courtney, Sam Worthington down our throats for so long, yet Aaron Eckhart just not good enough for us anymore.
He's
Let's
too
relegate him.
American,
Yeah.
unlike Jai Courtney's.
And like his start of Aaron Eckhart's career was great. Like he did Thank You for Smoking. Like this is how I knew him
Yeah.
first, and he's
Aaron
excellent.
Brockovich before that,
Yeah,
he was in that too.
and he's excellent in both of those movies. But mainly, to be fair, I only seen Erin Brockovich once, so I completely forgot he was there. But
He was the love interest.
I see. But I still remember, I only seen Thank You for Smoking once, a long time ago, but I still remember his performance, how electric he was in that movie, and how, talk about a leading performance. He was
Hmm.
great. So and it was, I saw that movie before The Dark Knight even come out. So when I knew he was gonna be Two-Face, I was like, holy shit, this guy, ace. And
I
then
can't believe Matt Damon was originally gonna be Two-Face, and then also was the top pick to be an Avatar.
And do you know the whole story about the Avatar thing?
Oh, and
No.
they offered him like percentages, like
10%.
insane percentage.
Like he said, look, I'm not gonna pay you your usual rate, because so I'll give you like what is like 3 million or five, but you can have 10% of gross. So
Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
like I feel like
10% of Avatar's gross is insane.
no, I feel like yeah, I like he's like look, Matt Damon obviously doesn't need any more money,
Yeah, Matt
but
Damon's fine,
yes.
but like
But no, Aaron Eckhart, like, talk about somebody who starts very well. Like, like after Dark Knight, I was like, oh, this man is going places. He will probably be an Oscar winner soon. And I don't know if he just said yes to one too many projects that failed, and then maybe he was labeled like box office poison.
did I Frankenstein, didn't he?
Yes, and I think that's kind of because if anything, if there's anything I learned from watching the Milos Forman's documentary, this two-time Academy Award winning director, he says in Hollywood nothing matters. You're as successful as your last movie. It doesn't matter how many Oscars you've done, you won, how many million you've made for any studio. The moment your last picture doesn't do well, you are branded. And I'm like,
Well,
holy shit.
just look at Christopher Nolan.
Yep.
Warner Brothers decided to disrespect him with the whole Tenant thing, and then he's like, "I'm out," and they're like, "No, please come back."
Please come back,
So,
Daddy. Yep.
but no, The Dark Knight's incredible, and it's still arguably the greatest comic book adaptation of all time,
Yep.
and people still have it at the top of that list.
Yes.
A lot of other comic book movies that I love more, but
Hmm.
like, there's not a whole lot of arguing.
Correct. What about you,
And
Sheen?
also, that
Oh.
wasn't a strong year of movies.
Oh.
Like looking back at that, I'm like, what were
That
you
that
doing?
could have snuck in. It didn't.
My next one is actually a Christopher Nolan film. And it's Interstellar.
Nice.
So
That was the other one I considered, and I almost put it in my like sci-fi choice, but something's kind of
this after all the years of people complaining that Christopher Nolan movies have no emotion and they're cold and distant, we had
wrong.
to watch Matthew
Wrong.
McConaughey cry his heart out
Murph.
in that one scene. Murph, can we just like acknowledge him for a minute?
No.
Like
Of course.
because Cooper did have another child, right? Right?
No. No.
Right?
You're wrong.
Right?
You mean young Timothy Chalamet?
He been played by Timothy Chalamet and Casey Affleck. Yes, he indeed had another child.
I don't know if this is a
Um,
joke. Sorry to interrupt. I don't know if this is a joke or he actually said this, but there's a quote from Timothy Chalamet like, "Oh, I rewatched Interstellar and I cried not because it's a great movie, but because I thought I'm gonna be there for much more longer than I actually was in that movie." I'm like, must be a joke, surely. But anyway.
It's funny because I just rewatched Hostels, that Western that got really overlooked, and Timothy Chalamet's in that, and he barely made it the first act.
Hmm.
Yet again, great time for Timothy Chalamet movies. But no, this film is grand. It is epic. This is filmmaking in the 21st century at its best. The practicality of certain things and the way that they realize that black hole is absolutely incredible. The Tesseract, the whole string theory nonsense at the end just looks like mind blowing.
Hmm.
Matthew McConaughey's great. The cast is great. Are some things a little on the nose, like Dr. Man, being the savior of humanity? Sure, but I lost it when I saw Matt Damon pop
I,
up
I'm
halfway through the
so
movie.
Matt
happy they managed
Damon.
to keep that secret. I'm so happy that did not leak on the internet, or haven't seen it, and I like went into the cinema not knowing he's Dr. Man. I was so because you
And
think,
they
oh
tease it
yeah,
because his picture's on the wall
yes,
earlier in the
yes,
movie, but it's just enough out of focus that you can't tell it's Matt Damon.
correct.
And I didn't bring up the score with the Dark Knight, but my God,
Oh yeah.
that organ infused score from Hans Zimmer is something special. And this is like grand filmmaking at its best. And I know this had a bit of a mixed reaction when it
Mhm.
first came out.
Yep.
And I feel like a lot of people have just come around and been like,
Now it's
Interstellar is great.
now it's universally beloved pretty much. Like no, I remember exactly the same. Many people were like, "Well, love saves them all." Well, what an ending! This is just fucking stupid. And I'm like, did you see the
You're
movie?
stupid.
Did you see the fucking movie? And then I rewatched it. I'm like, this is so like it might be stupid or not, but this is like actually like thematically the movie is prepping it for you. Like the movie is talking about it from the first fucking minute. Like, and I yeah, to your point about I just also love when Hans Zimmer plays with his organ too. Like that music.
Between this and Dead Man's Chest, like
Hmm.
the organ is strong. And honestly, I actually love organs. So like listening to that in this movie is just, especially the docking
Oh
sequence is insane.
yes,
And the different planets, that water planet is
that's my favorite scene.
terrifying. And God, the second that video popped up and it's Jessica Chastain and not Mackenzie Foy,
Yep.
and you're like, oh no.
Like
But yeah, this movie is incredible. I love
I watched this twice in the cinemas when it came out, and both times, like when the wave thing happened, like the first time I watched this, and I was like, "This is a wave," and it just pans out. You see the massive sheer size of it, and the organ music swells up. I got chills, and I don't get chills that often. I was like,
that
"Holy
is no moon.
fuck!" Yeah, And I just can't imagine watching this in IMAX because that would have been out of body experience. Like watching, like I would love to watch certain movies, not only in the cinemas but in IMAX. Yeah, that would have been something special. And Interstellar is something special, and it's also my favorite Nolan movie. So for my next pick, I'm gonna go back to basics or back to the 60s, and you're doing a series on him right now, Shane. Alfred Hitchcock. So obviously never been.
Which one?
I know,
Which
right? So he's never been nominated. Sorry, he has been nominated 5 times for Director, never won, famously. But this landmark of a movie not being nominated for Best Picture, again, we're talking about horror movie. Psycho. The
Mhm.
fact that Psycho is not, no, like I guess because it was what we said before, it's a genre pick. And I think at the time, reaction to Psycho were not actually positive. People were hating on it. People were like, oh,
Mhm.
this is kind of dumb. You have a main actress, you have this superstar at
Eggs
the
on
time.
their face.
Yeah. You have Janet Leigh, this superstar, and you kill her off like not even halfway through the movie. What is this? Like, but like Psycho, like rewatching it last year, it's such a well-crafted movie. It's well-paced. And obviously, the music that's been done and parodied to death, but it still works within the movie. There's Hitchcock understands tension, and just like her being stopped and having her ID checked by the cop, and you can like when like this shows like like she's like grabbing the wheel, and maybe am I gonna run or is she gonna run? Is she not gonna run? What's gonna happen next? Like those tiny scenes is what I miss about modern day cinema. It's like the tiny like that focus on those tiny details that tell you so much about how the character is feeling without telling you how it's feeling. It's showing you and aren't telling you. It's such a great movie, and I understand why it wasn't nominated for Best Picture, but I don't understand.
It's so interesting because if you look at the context of Hitchcock when he came over to the United States, literally his first two movies in the United States were nominated for Best Picture in the same year,
Hmm.
and Rebecca won Best Picture.
Yep.
And then you get to the 60s, which is considered his prime. Because, like, Rebecca was literally 1940.
Yep.
And you skip 20 years, and what most people think about Hitchcock, his greatest films are that string of Psycho and Vertigo and Rear Window and
North by Northwest.
North by Northwest and The
All
Birds.
four of
And like
those are on my list in some capacity.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
and you have all of those there, and it's just like, nope, no, we're not going to nominate. I feel like, and you got films like Doc Doolittle, like with Rex Harrison being nominated for Best Picture in the
What do you have
60s.
against talking to the animals? If I could talk to the animals,
You
walk
know how
with
many
the
times I've watched that movie? A lot. But just saying, up against something like Psycho and stuff like that, this were a weird time because you still had stuff like that, but then you had stuff like In the Heat of the Night, and Bonnie and Clyde starting to get attention. But then Hitchcock just got ignored. And
Yeah.
you could have picked Rear Window, Psycho, Vertigo, or North by Northwest. Any of the four of them could have easily just been like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
what are we even doing here?
So, Shane, if you want to ask what are we even doing, I looked up the nominee for 1961, honoring the 1960 movies where
Yep.
Psycho came out. So, the winner was The Apartment, fair.
Yes.
And such nominees, four other nominees, were such classics as The Alamo, Elmer Gantry, Sons
Gantry.
and Lovers, and The Sundowner. I haven't heard of three of those five. I heard of The Alamo, and I heard of, obviously, I've seen The Apartment, but
Is
yeah,
that that's the movie where we were the good guys, right? Supposedly,
well, it's John
supposedly,
Wayne, producer. I haven't seen The Alamo.
supposedly.
Don't know. You tell me. Like, I'm surprised. You must have seen it, right?
I've never watched The Alamo, but I trust
Oh,
me, I know it was literally directed by John
well, yeah, yeah.
as Davy Crockett. So like, I'm
So
just
no.
putting out that like this is like some kind of like grand thing about like
Mhm.
yeah, Texas, yeah, America, and it's just like on
Okay.
Mexican land.
Lost the Alamo. Okay, cool.
And they did. They did indeed. But it was a heroic loss, Mike. And who got the last laugh? Texas is America. So, yeah. So, Psycho should have been nominated for Best Picture.
Especially
Yes.
like, if you don't have a lineup of like five bangers, like, like 1975, where it's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to knock something out of that lineup. But if you have this lineup, and I'm like, I don't. I haven't. Movie lover and cinephile have not heard 3 out of those 5 ever in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Wait, because
Psycho's a technical master
Mhm.
class in suspense
Mhm.
filmmaking, and
Mhm.
like, what are we doing?
Well, you hear this from when an actor gets nominated for a tag that's like, Academy Award nominee, blah blah.
Yeah.
You don't hear about that crap for like best picture for certain movies. Like you're not going to look through and be like, "Hey, would you like to watch Academy Award nominated movie The Alamo?" No. No, of course not. But you look at something like Psycho and be like, "Oh, like it sticks out more like a sore thumb
Yeah.
when it's not nominated versus when it is nominated and it's like, really? This is about to come up with?"
Except, so a little story. At Czech TV, when they were showing Flashdance, the original Flashdance, they advertised it, and I'm not even joking. Oscar-winning picture Flashdance, and I was like, "Wait, Oscar-winning? What?" Yes, because it won for
Original
the
song.
song.
Yeah.
So it was like, we are bringing you this Oscar-winning American movie from 1984, Flashdance, about this, and it was back in the
What a
day.
feeling.
Yes, when there was like the like an when you had like introduction before big movie like
Mhm.
done on like, this like a Czech TV, national TV, and they were like basically recap what you about to watch, and like they won an Oscar, and I'm like, huh? Oh yeah, song. I guess yeah, technically it is a best best Oscar winning movie. To
That
your
should
point.
be Luke, that should be like one of the topics that you do is like that won a Oscar? Really? Like we live in a world where, some of these movies don't even get nominated and yeah, I
Suicide
hate to
Squad
pick
2016.
yeah, I
Literally, I
hate
was
to
gonna say the same thing.
I hate to pick on that one or I hate to pick on something like, I don't know, Hustle and Flow for example. It's like Hustle and
Or
Flow has
even if
won
you
more
stretch
Oscars.
it to nominee,
Mhm.
not Oscar nominee Norbit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
We can.
my.
No, thank you for that. We'll definitely do that episode at some point.
Yeah.
But Mike, what is your third choice?
My third choice is the Jim Carrey bracket. It's like, which Jim Carrey movie do we
Okay.
think should have been nominated for Best Picture? And
I
it's Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless.
it's a different
So,
Jim Carrey movie than on my list. On you go.
oh, that one is on my honorable mentions then.
Okay.
But Eternal Sunshine, this is again a case of another. It's a genre movie. It's weird. Like, and the Academy Award sometimes just doesn't like weird movies. But I really do think they also have a vendetta against Jim Carrey. Like they don't like the guy, and that's stupid because he is arguably one of the funniest people in Hollywood ever. But then also when he tries to take these swings, like the guy can like actually legitimately do stuff. Wow, it's
Hmm.
great stuff. But then also the whole concept of this movie, it is sci-fi through and through, but also it's just so meaningful. Everybody, like, okay, maybe not every, but a large amount of the population has encountered something like
Yeah.
when you lose somebody that you love, whether it's the breakup is amicable or not amicable, and the pain that you experience, what you would give in order to just fast forward, get out of it's really, I don't know, it's just a very meaningful question
Hmm.
to ask. And if anything, isn't that why we have movies in the first place, to ask these tough questions, present solutions, stick and full. But whatever, who cares? It's too weird for us. But then you look at, I'm looking it up. Right? What else was
'Cause what year
nominated?
did this come out?
Came out in 2004. So the
Okay.
nominee.
Probably Finding Neverland. Perfect.
So I
So we've
have
got
it. Oh, sorry.
Finding Neverland, Million Dollar Baby, The Aviator, Sideways, and the one that I would probably remove from this is Ray, because Ray is a standard biopic. Whereas all the other ones I think were worthy nominees.
As much as I really love Finding Neverland, it doesn't strike me as like a best picture. And I say
So are
it.
we saying the two biopics on here? Well, actually, there's
Oh,
three
there's a third
biopics on here,
biopic. Yeah.
but the third biopic was made by Martin Scorsese, and like,
Yeah, and Leo.
and the insane technical prowess that went into that movie was ridiculous. But
Hmm.
no, like either Ray or Finding Neverland, like Eternal
I'd be
Sunshine should have
fine.
been there. So Sideways is such an interesting like Best Picture nominee. Just pointing that
Mhm.
out there.
I just watched it for the first time like a few months ago, and I totally loved it. I like Alexander Payne and I, we struggle occasionally. So I was like afraid, but this one, when we click, we fucking click. And Sideways we clicked. I was like, holy fuck. And I hate wine. I don't like wine. I couldn't relate on anything like, why are you so into wine? And then I look at my letterbox, then I'm like, oh, yeah, never
Oh,
mind.
that's why.
I
That's
understand.
why.
I understand. When you have the obsession for something like that, I totally understand.
So what's interesting is I hated Eternal Sunshine the first time I watched it.
Hmm.
And I put that and I hated her the first time I watched it.
Ooh.
And realizing that when I watched them back in college, I hated the idea in them so
Mhm.
much that it got in the way of me appreciating what the film was saying about.
Yep.
So, like, me personally, I would never erase any memory that I've had
Hmm.
because they all made me who I am today. So, me sitting there
Yeah.
watching this is like a 20-year-old just like, why would you do this?
Yep.
Me being mad at the movie for that. But then, the film navigates it like, no, you really shouldn't do
Mhm.
this.
Yeah.
And there's some really messed up shit that happens in this movie. Like the whole
Hmm.
Tom Wilkinson thing with Kirsten Dunst, I'm like, ugh. But no, like this is such a creative film, and Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet as the manic pixie dream girl of his dreams, and then not like really processing the fact that like there's a lot more complex this dynamic. And also, Elijah was a little
Oh yeah.
creeping.
Yep.
He's a creep in a lot of his movies that
And
he's in
TV
that are
shows.
not named Lord of the Rings.
And if you watch the Yellow
Like Sin
Jackets,
City
he's
came out like
also
the
Oh, he's super creepy in Yellow Jackets. He's really unhinged and weird and Wilfred. Yeah.
yep,
The guy's
he
got
was
range.
sure
range,
does.
but no, like Eternal Sunshine in hindsight should have for Best Picture that
Hmm.
year. I'm just glad none of you were attempting any slander on Million Dollar Baby because I would have been very upset.
Oh no, I'm one of those people who thinks that Million Dollar Baby is a worthy nominee and a worthy.
I need to rewatch it. It's been a while, but I remember loving it the only time I watched it. So
That
I
is not a
reserve my.
movie
Everybody
that
just
you
thought
want.
it was Rocky with a girl.
Oh no,
Last
no,
time I checked, Rocky didn't have euthanasia in
no.
it.
But maybe considering the amount of sequels we got, then maybe it should have. It should have. Sorry, too dark.
Damn. Is the euthanasia on Paulie? Because
Oh
sign
no,
that.
Mike's
no.
Mike,
favorite character.
Mike, Paulie is a piece of shit
I know.
consistently throughout that franchise. But anyway, oh, is it
Yeah,
my turn?
yeah.
Um,
Shane, bring us
so
back on
my
track,
number
please.
one favorite horror film of all time is The Shining. And not only did this not get nominated for Best Picture, but this got a lot of attention at the Razzies. With
Yes.
like what? I get it. This was a jarring experience for people, but I hate the Razzie. Well, this is a whole entire other thing, but like I don't like I have people like, when's your worst of list coming out for the year? I'm like, I don't do shit.
Hmm.
I don't like going out of my way to celebrate the bad. I'll review a film and talk about the bad, but I don't like celebrating.
Yep.
And in what right mind is The Shining one of the worst films of 1980?
It's not.
Like, what are you talking about? But this film is impeccably crafted and purposefully makes no sense in places. And that's just how 4D chess Stanley Kubrick was doing on this film. The music is haunting, the visuals are striking, the technical prowess. Jack Nicholson gives one of the most unhinged performances I have ever seen in a movie. And it is terrifying. Shelley Duvall gets way too much shit, and that like the manic emotion that she shows throughout the second half of this film. And this is not the kind like if you are super into story and character as the basis for your cinematic viewing experience, there's going to be multiple Kubrick films that are just not going to do that because that's not what the point is. This film is one of the most haunting and unnerving experiences you're ever going to have
Hmm.
sitting and watching a movie. And yes, I've read the Stephen King novel and I love the Stephen King. They're just different.
Hmm.
I don't think
And
Stanley Kubrick ever picked up a book and was like,
different is okay. There's
yes,
other interpretations for things called art.
art. It's like, I don't think Stanley Kubrick ever picked up a book and was like, I'm going to adapt this exactly how this should be. He's like, you know what? I like that. This is my shit now. And just did his thing. So, And that's exactly what he did with Shining.
Mhm.
Like, did I care about Jack Torrance? No. He looked completely insane from the second he showed up in this movie. And I know Stephen King hated that.
Mhm.
Like, this film is a masterclass in horror. And you can tell, like, randomly I was watching Paranormal Activity 4 because that's what my review request is for this month. And there's a kid riding a little trike around the hallways, and I'm just like, there's gonna be twins around the corner being like, play with us,
Mhm.
play with us forever and ever and ever. And also, one of the most terrifying things, and this isn't even part of the movie that gets talked about enough, is that scene with Grady in that bathroom where he's like, your wife and son correct. And I'm like,
Ooh.
Mhm.
you all can't see
What do you
my
say?
face listening to this podcast, but I'm just
Like,
like,
what are you saying? What is going on? Why?
what are we talking about here?
Mhm.
And I'm just like, this movie's effed up. And
Yeah.
that's why it works. So, and I've watched Ordinary People a couple of times. Movie is legitimately a very emotional experience and a beautiful human drama. There's some heavy hitters here, like Raging Bull and The Elephant Man are on here.
Yep.
I love Sissy Spacek in Coal Miner's Daughter. But if you ever want to watch a movie that's just like the most standard biopic you're gonna find, it's Coal Miner's.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I'll admit, I don't know what Tess. Oh, it's a Roman Polanski.
I think
Interesting.
I heard about it, but I haven't seen this. No.
The Shining could take the spot of Coal Miner's Daughter. Sorry.
No, the Shining is. I managed to catch it in the cinemas when it was re-released for like 40th or like 30th anniversary, 35, like something like that. It was like being re-released. What an experience in a cinema! It was magnifique. It was so good. Like every scene just plays. This is what we talked about with Alfred Hitchcock. You forget the little scenes in between the big scene and how those masters of cinema, like Hitchcock, like Stanley Kubrick, like Spielberg, like David Lynch, can make those in between scenes still feel relevant. And if they're supposed to be tense, they will be tense. Like any other movie, him just riding the bicycle, we wouldn't have that scene, just him riding around the hotel and with the music, because we would just get to the twins. We would just get to the point, right? No, Stanley Kubrick just puts the camera on him and lets him ride,
And a
let
steady cam
yes, and lets
at
him,
that, which
yeah, just lets him ride around the hotel. And the music, we just the sensation, just the angle, and just the music accompanying that scene. You feel like every time he makes a turn, there is something behind that turn. And that feeling, that unnerving feeling that, hey, behind this corner, there is some sort of evil. I don't know what it is, but there is gonna be something fucking evil because like the camera angle, the score, everything about this movie is so crafted that it just it's, as you said, Shane, everything is kind of weird and crooked and like non-logical, and you don't even point it out until you rewatch it like 10 times, and many times you even miss some things, but like subconsciously you recognize it, and your subconsciousness understands there's something wrong, I just cannot place it. And I think this is the prime example of, this is something wrong, I cannot place it, but I love it. And this is the penultimate example of Stanley Kubrick was a man for any genre. When it comes to versatility, it alone, I don't think there's been a director as versatile as him, because every genre he tackled, you could argue it's like, A plus and insane.
any thoughts, Mike?
I agree. I think that the fact that so many of Stanley Kubrick's movies just at the time are just so misunderstood and just not seen are, I don't know, just that's just the hallmark of just somebody who just so ahead of time that
Hmm.
is like, I had like another one of his that I had him like, look, I get it, 2001 is not for everybody, but in time can't deny that, and you can't deny that it's an amazing film, technically as well. But again, both of this and The Shining have in common in a genre that is something that the Academy
Is that
not.
a formal choice of yours?
I just
Okay, just
Because
checking.
I was not, we're gonna bring it up because I'm pretty sure it's very high on Shane's list. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're gonna
I
talk about
bet
2000.
sorry.
Yep,
Well, no,
yep.
I'm just Luke. Is it on your formal seven?
No, because I
Okay.
I thought I
You're
know
like,
you.
Shane's gonna talk about it. That's fine.
I know
Um,
Shane.
Is Barry Lyndon his only film that got nominated for Best Picture?
I believe so, yes. And he technically, I because of this, because of the research I did before this episode, I discovered technically he won an Oscar for visual effects for 2001.
Yeah.
So the movie wasn't nominated for Best Picture, but it was nominated for several categories. I think even screenplay. But he only won. But apparently Stanley Kubrick had a hand in the VFX, in the special effects. So he actually has an Oscar, except not for directing, which is
Yep.
it
There you go.
doesn't make sense, but okay.
I feel like Barry Lyndon makes sense as the only one that got nominated for Best Picture since it's a
This is the
period
only
piece,
one.
despite the
Yes.
fact that it's a satire of one.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was making fun of it the whole time. Whatever.
So I know. So I'm gonna do another Hitchcock. I'm boring, and this might again, as we talked about it with the westerns, it's a flip of a coin between Psycho and this movie for me for best Hitchcock, and that's a Rear Window. Rear Window in it's such an influential movie. It's on pretty much everything is one location. It's hey, what if we peek on other people's lives and see how they live, but we've seen something we were not supposed. What are we gonna do now? And you have James Stewart just like not being able to move, just riding around, and then you have Grace Kelly, this angel of a woman. I was like, holy fuck! Like I introduced this film to my then girlfriend, now wife. She's a straight woman, but she was like, damn, Grace Kelly is beautiful. I'm like, she sure is. And that movie, like, it's talk about tension, talk about for being pretty much one location, and most of the plot is just like, hey, James Stewart is looking through binoculars. What is the neighbors are up to? It kind of seems boring, but it's never boring. It's always thrilling. It's exhilarating. And the fact this wasn't nominated for Best Picture. It is mad. So yeah, another Hitchcock movie, but this is how I roll. Rear Window.
This is
What
the
year did
number.
Rear Window come out?
So it's 54, and I have nominees for 1955. So the no on the Waterfront won, Shane. So you'll be very happy with that. The
Yep.
nominees
And
were
then the rest.
The Kane Mutiny, The Country Girl, which Country Girl is an amazing movie, also starring Grace Kelly, Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, and Three Coins in a Fountain. And I'm like, out of the
Seven brides for seven brides for seven brothers is like the most. Look, we made a musical.
Mhm.
Being
Hey.
nominated for Best Picture in the 50s.
But it's like like it's on my shelf. It's about to be watched. Like I'm gonna watch it. So, but like it lives on. It lives on. Like I heard of this movie. I've never heard of Kane Mutiny. I never heard of Three Coins in the Fountain.
The
And
Three Coins in the Fountain
I
is the one that I was like, I've never heard of. I've heard of the Kane Mutiny, but I've
Okay.
never heard.
I've heard of the
Coins.
King
Okay.
and with like this has Humphrey Bogart, Jose Ferrer,
Mhm.
and I also know even more because the Kane Mutant Court Martial film
Mm.
that came out that was William Friedkin's last film
I believe so. Yeah.
that came out. Rowan and I covered that on Rowan and the Waste back then when that was
Mhm.
still going strong.
Yep.
But no, Rear Window is incredible. And if you want to just watch somebody kill it with impeccable filmmaking and vision, this is it. Because
Mhm.
it's people watching the movie.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Stewart's incredible.
Mhm.
Grace Kelly's great. And his name, Perry Mason.
Barry Mason. Yeah,
Who's
that's
the
his name.
who's the antagonist.
Yes.
And he's intimidating. And it's a thrilling film and just the POV shots and how this is one of those like production design situations where it's like this isn't like big sprawling castles, period stuff kind of like that, but this is so impeccably put together. This ecosystem of a community in this apartment building, just the whole entire setup of it. So
Like he makes you care about every single person in every single apartment, no matter how big or short their story is. Like that, that woman that seems very lonely and is about to like kill herself. And like like he makes you. Shane is.
I'm showing off my new Hitchcock 4K set that I have,
Yep.
including the one of these has Rear Window on it, Rope,
Yep.
Vertigo, North by Northwest.
I think I have the same set, but it looks differently. But I think I have the same set because it's exactly those four movies. So yeah.
Well, this was like a 12 movie set that just came out in the fall.
Ah.
Adam and I were very excited. Friend of the show, frequent collaborator, and
Yes.
member of the crew, Adam.
Rear Window is my number two. It is
Nice.
um
Nice.
I tend to judge a lot of my movies how well this adapts it, and this one is
Reasonable.
The
just a
Shinnig?
perfect example of how you could take the cultural show again, like again with tension, tense, I all Hitchcock, and
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like to get the most out of your actors takes like talent. For that, Hitchcock fully endorse.
He wasn't amazing to his actors, but but yeah, fully amazing as to what he
Well, and
managed to.
Him and
that's kind
Kubrick
of
were
where
not
like
exactly the
Yes,
nicest of directors.
mhm.
to put it very politely, correct.
Very politely.
So,
What's
Mike, what
next,
about
Mike?
number four?
So it was a toss up between two foreign films, and this is more of a sentimental pick. I love the Amelie, so the fact that it was not nominated
Nice.
for Best Picture bums me out to no extent. I look at the movies that were nominated for the 2002
Mhm.
Academy Awards, Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, yeah, like nominate that all day every A Beautiful Mind. I also do not mind Moulin Rouge for in a different category. Then you have, In the Bedroom and Gosford Park, which I've never seen. In the Bedroom, I've seen Gosford Park. Gosford Park's fine to me, even though it definitely has some like funny, but if yeah, I guess that's one thing that like, we've kind of talked about throughout the progression of this conversation is like, okay, if you nominate this one, what are you taking out? And that's where like it just becomes a simple math problem
Mhm.
after like before 2009 or 2010, when it's like, yeah, we'll just nominate everything, I guess. But with Amelie, I think just the whimsicalness of it, just the overall lack of support that the Academy has had for, or the lack of support the Academy has had for foreign film, doomed this from the get go. I get it. It's this is not a movie for everybody, unfortunately, even though it's like, to me, it's just one of those timeless, fun story.
And weird.
It's
Mhm.
weird. It's super weird.
It's French.
It's French, yeah, and
Very French.
I just I just rewatched Ratatouille recently, or last night actually, and I hate to be rude, but we're French and we got to cook, and Linguini is like, couldn't you have said we've got it instead? But the like Amelie is just like a personal favorite. I adored it, and although it was nominated for best film, it didn't win that either. So that
I'm a big fan of Genet and Carol,
just,
and with Delicatessen, The City of Lost Children, and Amelie was Genet going off on his own. And it's such a strange rom-com in such a fun way. It's so damn charming. And, they nominated Chocolat for Best Picture the year before. So, like, why couldn't you have nominated Amelie?
Because they didn't have to read subtitles, Shane.
I guess so. To be fair, they also did nominate Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon for Best Picture the year before too.
well,
But
they've
that
done,
had for
yeah.
sure,
Well, but and then
and that movie's
couple
awesome.
couple
Uh,
years before that, you had also Life is, El
and
Man.
a beepity boppity bee all through the '90s.
Yes. No, Amelie is
Oh,
awesome. I need to rewatch it. But like I cannot really contribute much to Amelie because I've only seen it once. I thought it was delightful, but I need to rewatch it. It's been like 20 years.
alrighty. My next one is The Big Lebowski.
Of course.
Um, so the more and more I watch this, I just realize how complex and layered this movie actually is. And I had a moment when I watched The Long Goodbye for the Wasteland watch list and realizing that this is literally a spoof of them in
Yep.
many ways because the Coens love Raymond Chandler noir novels, Philip Marlowe specifically. And Robert Altman took a Philip Marlowe novel, turned it into an LA contemporary 70s PI story. And that's exactly what the Big Lebowski is, except he's not a PI, he's a bum. And people think he's a PI. He's a brother Seamus. And this film, one, shot by D, looks amazing. The way it uses shadow and everything and night shoots. Gutterballs is one of the most creative and fun and just out there scenes in the history of movies. It's my favorites. The opening sequence, even with them just, beautifully looking at this bowling alley to that impeccably chosen Bob Dylan song. The soundtrack of this movie is fantastic, whether it's Bob Dylan or Creedence. I do love my Creedence tape as well. Or one of the best used songs in the history of movies, which was just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in, by Kenny Rogers in the first edition during the Gutterball season. The Coen brothers are unmatched and unparalleled in their ability to make minor and supporting characters just bloom in their movies. And this movie is so full of the most random, crazy, fun characters from a purple clad bowler who's also a pederast, to known pornographers, to a German new wave band who are a bunch of nihilists turned ransomers, to, the titular Big Lebowski, who's a fraud. And if I've known anything in my whole entire life, this man walks. And the strangest art student folks grown up into adults who had way too much money on their hands, like Maud Lebowski and David Thewlis. And then, of course, my favorite supporting character in the history of movies is Walter Sobchak, and John Goodman created one of the most fun characters ever. And Jeff Bridges is the dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he is. He wore literally his own clothes. He is the dude. And this movie is endlessly quotable. It is so funny. And it is one of the strangest, most just fun experiences. And every time you watch it, it just keeps getting better and better. And you just peel back layers on it. And man, I hate the effing Eagles. I don't, but it's a fun thing to. And this is also 1990. This is 1998.
Yep.
If we want to choose a funny movie to be winning Best Picture, let's pick The Big Lebowski over Shakespeare in Love. So there we go.
I'm not ready for that discussion.
I'm not arguing against Saving Private Ryan.
I was gonna say I'm not ready for that discussion. Big Lebowski, winning over Saving Private Ryan.
Hey, Saving Private Ryan won over Big Lebowski, fine, but it didn't. Shakespeare in Love did.
Yeah,
and Life is Beautiful is there. Elizabeth, which is, Kate Blanchett being Queen Elizabeth, played multiple Queen Elizabeths. And then, another war film, The Thin Red Line.
Yep.
Like, man, this is a Terrence Malick war film, and it's just like, nope, Saving Private Ryan. So, but no, the dude abides.
The dude sure abides. Mike, do you have anything to add for Big Lebowski? Because I'm gonna repeat myself as what I said for Amelie, and Shane knows this. I need to desperately rewatch it because it's been a 10 years since I watched it only once.
You could pick it.
Yes, I know. I'll probably pick it for a Wasteland retrospective, and we'll do it because I need to do it with an ultra hardcore fan such as yourself of that movie.
First of all, wait a minute. No, you can't pick it for Wasteland.
I just realized we did it
because I picked it. You son of a bitch.
Oh, shit.
So no.
We did it with Raising Arizona back.
Yes.
God, was that June already? That's been almost a year.
What?
Damn.
What? No. You lie. You lie about your podcast.
Time has no meaning.
I have an Excel spreadsheet with dates and everything.
Yep.
Look, we should just talk about it anyway. At some point. We should do a Coen Brothers episode to give you an excuse to rewatch it. We'll discuss that later.
Okay. All right. So for my pick, let's stick with international because we already talked about Amelie and the famous international movie, The Big Lebowski.
LA does feel like a different world.
It does. Sure does. I wanna pour one out for Akira Kurosawa. And for Ran, specifically, because that movie...
It's on my...
Oh, nice!
No, not on my list proper. It's an outer mention.
Yeah. Because, that movie, I've also rewatched for Shane's podcast, and I was so happy that I did. Shane is showing us his beautiful Blu-ray. Very nice.
Oh, this is a Studio Canal collection. I'm hoping this gets, Criterion collection.
I don't know Criterion, but I do have it in 4K, and that, another, immaculate 4K. That transfer is stunning. But the movie, holy shit, I struggle. I think I talked about this on your podcast, Shane. I sometimes struggle with these historical dramas, occasionally. But when it's done by Akira Kurosawa, it's on another level. This is Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones. Obviously it's, I know it's Shakespeare. I know, I know. Just being funny.
It based on one of my favorite Shakespeare
Yep,
performances
yep.
ever, because I took a whole class on Shakespeare. I had to read a lot of it, but nothing can just top King Lear.
I believe so, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, but that movie is so I think, just to say it's beautifully shot is underselling it. And then you discover Akira Kurosawa was losing his sight, so he actually hand painted everything like a few years prior to that, and the camera person was following what he painted. And then you discover, oh, this is beautiful part of Japan that's so isolated. No, those shots had to be so precise because there was like an airport right next to it. So those shots had to be particular precise because there was an actual fucking airport next to them. I was like, holy shit. But that movie is just beautiful. It is long, yes, but I wasn't bored. I wasn't bored at all because it's epic in a best way, but it's also subtle in many scenes. In its epicness, it finds a way to be subtle about, with characters and how those characters behave. And because of that rewatch, I just found a new way of appreciation for this movie and for Akira Kurosawa, and need to watch more of his movies. But to me, this is 85, if I'm not mistaken, and Ran not being. I don't even think it had an international feature, to be honest. So this is a bit insane.
Out of Africa.
That's the Out of Africa year, but I'm checking quickly on the official Oscar page if it was even nominated for a foreign feature, and it wasn't. So that is a bit crazy.
Shame.
Yeah.
We'll certainly talk a lot about feudal Japan and Akira Kurosawa on our next episode when we talk about countries we love for international cinema.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert. But Ron is epic. It is gorgeous. It is some of the most striking visuals I've seen in him. And I added that Studio Canal 4K to my upgrade wish because I would love to watch that.
It's beautiful.
So just incredible. And if they didn't have a falling out, how fitting would it have been if it was Toshiro Mifune?
Mm,
But still an incredible lead performance
yes.
because Kurosawa worked with some of the greatest Japanese actors in the history of Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, and he really understood how to make a Shakespeare adaptation too.
Yep.
Between that and Throne of Blood,
Oh,
and
that's a movie
so
also.
good.
Mm-hmm.
I could have just made a whole list of Kurosawa films that deserve to win Best Picture, but that was not the task at hand.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, between Kubrick, Hitchcock, we could have
Yep. Just
those
those movies.
those
Yep.
three.
We could each
And
picked one.
Yep.
yeah,
100%.
This is what, so
who picked this topic? My bad.
speaking of, what do you have next, Mike?
Yep. Nice transition.
It's very hard to narrow it down to 5 movies for 1999 movies because there's so many good movies.
Mhm.
If there was ever a time where it's like, hey, Academy, apply for an exception to get more movies nominated here. Because you take a look at some of the movies that were nominated for Best Picture that year, like American Beauty is icky to me now, but at the same time, it's like
It's an interesting experience watching now, knowing how
Kevin
icky
Spacey.
Kevin Spacey is.
Yeah.
Because, like, to be fair, he's icky in this too. He is like creeping on his.
But a different kind of icky.
Yeah.
Then you have The Sixth Sense, which a rare instance where a horror movie gets love. The Green Mile, The Insider, and Cider House Rules. Those all feel like standard. Oh, like maybe not The Green Mile as much, but
It's weird, but it's still like a period piece
Yeah.
with something to say. So
Yep. And both
But-
are great movies.
you know what great film is missing from this bunch? The
Many.
Matrix.
That was on my list. So, yep.
like
The Matrix, because like to me The Matrix and Everything Everywhere All at Once will go down to me as like movies where I wrote off the trailer and I was like, what is The Matrix? It was like, don't care. And then when I went to go see it, it was like, holy shit, I was wrong.
Wrong.
And granted, it won all of the technical Oscars, which it definitely
as it should
deserved.
have.
If there was ever a time where it was like, hey, Academy, stunt people, you should probably give them an award for something like
And
this.
Seeing how Chad Stahelski and David Leitch were both on this movie, and it's just like, look what they've done since.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Just what a perfect time for a movie like this to come out as
Mhm.
well. So The Matrix to me will go down as like one of the greatest theater going instances that I've ever had. It was so unbelievably fucking loud watching that. But it was awesome watching those fight sequences, just the visual effects, the bullet time, just like give the movie a nomination just for, you know, the innovation of bullet time, right? But no, we can't. It's too out there. We can't do that. Like, it's just, it doesn't fit in our very carefully crafted mold of what we think a sci-fi, or what we think an Academy Award nominated film for Best Picture
Prestigious.
should be.
Yeah,
It's not
prestigious
prestigious.
cinema.
Yeah, it's not film. It's a movie. It's not film.
Yeah, it's not cinema.
Yeah.
Despite the
So,
fact that this is way deeper thematically than like almost every other movie nominated that year at the Oscars, it's just, whoa, I know kung
whoa.
fu.
Yeah,
And,
that's
like,
that's your takeaway from this. Mhm.
yeah, I
Not you.
if they made an like instead of us each making our own list, if they made a definitive list of movies that should have been like in hindsight, like how could you have been that off base
Mhm.
about what should have been represented at the Oscars? I think The Matrix is like top
Mhm.
because like The Matrix is also one of my like 100 favorite movies. It's just I love a lot of movies that were nominated for Best Picture. Also, I realized I love a lot of movies that were as I was going through my list, but like
Come on. Come
they
on.
did not see what was coming right there
Mhm.
and realizing like this was film change and it was legitimately a game changer. And you know how many rip-offs did we get between Equilibrium and so many other movies that were just ripping off this action style?
I've read
Action movies
someplace. Oh,
very
sorry.
underrepresented by the
Yeah.
Academy.
I've read someplace that just the bullet time sequence was parodied within the next 2 years, like in 30 something movies. Just that sequence alone was parodied or had an homage to in like 34, 37 movies, something like that, within just a
Hey,
year or two.
when you make
Most
it into a
importantly, it was in
Shrek
Shrek.
movie, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Shrek, scary, Shrek, scary movie, the first one, yeah, like just those two, like instantly, yeah.
Yep.
No, Matrix is awesome, and it was also on my list, so yeah, like it's such
Mike
a.
knew I was going to bring up Shrek.
Of course,
Knew
we
it.
know you.
Just you wait.
Just you, eh? So, what is your next pick, Shane?
Oh, you don't have to wait.
Oh,
Shrek 2.
Oh,
that was topical. Okay, let's go.
See, that would have been a great segue.
Mm.
If I thought of it and remembered that I was next. Um, but this is always a tough choice between picking between Shrek and Shrek 2, but Shrek 2 is like one of the greatest sequels ever made.
Yes.
Like, if you want a blueprint on how to make a sequel, you watch Shrek 2 because it took everything that worked great about the first one, added even more, made it bigger, and it worked. And because one of the things that bothers me, it's like when people are like, well, it's not about anything. No, it's not about like big geopolitical issue or something. Like when people criticize movies for not being about something, like especially like kids movies, I'm like, just because it's not like big capital T theme doesn't mean it's not about something deeply honest and human, because the first Shrek movie is about identity, and also you could rate it as racism. And I'm pretty sure like that was there. And Shrek 2 is one of the most relatable relationship movies ever. Because who doesn't worry about meeting their in-law? Like you're meeting the parents of the person you love, and you don't want it to go terrible. And that's the entire core of this movie, and they nailed it perfectly. This is Guess Who's Coming to Dinner,
Mhm.
but Shrek. So like,
So also
and
racism, yes.
dare I say,
Uh-oh.
better.
oh, wow.
Damn, that's some strong words right there.
I have very strong feelings about Shrek and Shrek 2.
I thought you were gonna say you have a strong feelings about Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. I'm like,
I don't. I just love
I
Shrek
know.
a lot. Legitimately, one of the funniest sequences I think in any movie ever is the Knights parody of Cops with the catnip
Yeah.
That's
donkey
not
yelling police brutality. And what also the sight gag of them using actual like pepper grinders as
Pepper
pepper
spray.
spray, hilarious. And the fact they made an OJ joke
mine.
where they're like, we have a white Bronco going through the forest. I'm like, when I was old enough to get that joke, I lost it. This movie is so funny. It's so quotable. Puss in Boots is one of the greatest sequel added characters ever.
Yes,
And
Yes.
absolutely.
Antonio Banderas, hot off the tails of making The Mask of Zorro, was the most inspired cast. Puss in Boots, just all of it. The casting in general. Jennifer Saunders. I didn't understand her game when I was 13 years old when I watched this movie, but her as a fairy godmother is one of the best like animated villains ever.
Yeah,
And her rendition of Holding Out for a Hero is a certified banger.
it
And that
is.
whole entire sequence, it's incredible. And there's some unhinged jokes in this movie outside of the ones I already mentioned. And watching this as an adult, I'm like, oh my God, they made a thong joke about Pinocchio wearing ladies' underwear.
Yep.
And the whole action sequence and the climax is great. It has true love, plenty of humor, adventure, fantasy, and a killer soundtrack. Shrek movies
Does
always
that like
they always do. And I played "Accidentally in Love" was my wedding song when we kissed when we got married,
oh
and it just blasted out of the speakers. I'm just like, this is a perfect moment. And
Nice.
that opening sequence lampooning so many things from Lord of the Rings to
yeah.
Spider-Man from here to eternity
Yep.
with Ariel getting yeeted out into the ocean. Just yeah, this movie's perfect. And going back to 2004,
Mhm.
yeah, we could kick out both Finding Neverland and Drag. So we could put Shrek 2
Yeah.
and Eternal
And
Sunshine of the
Eternal
Spotless
Sunshine.
Mind. Both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
I would
I'm
ju-
done.
I would just add, so Antonio Banderas is such an obvious casting pick, but it actually worked because it was so obvious and it was perfect. That's why. And
He
I
committed. He committed though.
exactly.
That's the
Living
thing
La
that works.
Vida Loca.
Luca, yes.
Mm.
And only thing you haven't mentioned, because I agree with all your points, I also love Shrek 2. Only thing you haven't mentioned is the pacing of this movie is brilliant. Like it's not too long, it's not too short. It's paced beautifully. You cannot even stop and be bored for a second. Whether it's a new joke, whether it's a new character being introduced, whether it's something, the movie is paced so beautifully. Like it just flies by, and you're having the best of times. Like I still remember watching it and rewind on a DVD and rewinding that. I need a hero sequence because that sequence is my favorite out of that. Like this is just beautiful.
It it's again just another genre that is grossly underrepresented at the Academy Awards Best Picture. There's only been what like it's definitely
Beauty and the Beast
not.
was nominated for Best Picture.
Beauty and the Beast, which that one's even more impressive because that only had five nominations and that got
Mhm.
nominated for Best Picture. What is it? Up
Up.
and Toy
Toy
Story
Story.
3.
That's and
Hmm.
it's crazy because animation has been around for almost 100 years. The fact that like almost never gets nominated
It's
for
just for kids.
it sucks because it now has to have its own separate category as a pity. Like it's pretty much a pity fuck. That's what it is. It's like, oh, cool.
And Shrek took that first
I
one.
was gonna say
It
Shrek.
sure
Proudly.
did.
Yep.
Which this lost to The Incredible, I'm pretty sure. So I'm like,
Can't get too mad at that, but
I'm
still.
not
Yeah.
going to argue with people about that.
Yeah.
Not everybody loves Shrek as much as I do, but The Incredibles is arguably the best pick. So
I would vote for Shrek 2 instead of Incredibles, but I'm not as high on Incredibles as others are, but I still like the movie. But definitely
Yeah.
not my best picks are, but I would pick Shrek.
we're churning some stuff right now.
Uh-huh.
Way to go, Shane. So animated film
I know,
to
right?
pick.
What a year. Can I
Oh,
tell my quick aside about how I didn't get to see Shrek 2 in theaters?
Oh,
oh
really?
God.
So my aunt took my brother and I to the movies, and 13-year-old Shane wanted to see Shrek 2. 14-year-old my brother wanted to see White Chicks. And my aunt's like, no, we're gonna go see the Terminal. Which is why which is
No.
why I hated that movie's guts until I rewatched it for my Spielberg series and let my bias from that experience go. It's a sweet movie. It's not Shrek.
It's
And
not
I
Shrek
did
2 at all.
I my buddies Kevin and Dave went with me to go see Shrek 2 for its 20th anniversary in theaters. So yes, I did actually get to see Shrek 2 in a theater finally after 20 years.
Nice.
And it was worth it. being one of the only grown ass people in there without any kids. So
You were like the Adam Sandler meme from what is it, Billy Madison?
yes, and I was proud of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I am surprised nobody mentioned this movie, so I'm gonna do it now. For my number 5 pick, I'll go in a year where he's won for the Schindler's List. The other movie was not even nominated, which is Jurassic Park. See, it's so first of all,
Perfect movie.
he makes Schindler's List and Jurassic Park in the same year, just back to back, like no biggie. Okay,
Just casually.
like I read a story that he made Jurassic Park first, and apparently, besides like the animatronics like failing here and there, it wasn't as big of a pest as the Jaws. That shoot was so flawless. He called up his buddy George Lucas, Spielberg did, and said, "Hey, can you finish last couple of days on Jurassic Park? I'm about to go to Poland to film Schindler's List. Thank you." So apparently, last couple of days of Jurassic Park was done by uncredited by George Lucas because that shooting was quite smooth. So he's like, "Oh, can you just do this?" I was like,
And he's like, George can't mess it up.
"Yeah," but talk about its cultural relevance and importance. Being also a movie, and to this day we've had what 7 other sequels, reimaginings, all that kind of jazz.
God,
Not
it's 7.
yeah.
No.
6 or 7? Was 6, 7?
6?
Well, we had
Maybe
we had the
six.
2 sequels, and we had the
6.
trilogy. So and a
2
rebirth.
sequel
And then
poppers,
a
and then
freaking
4.
fourth one.
Yeah, and a
So yes, I
rebirth.
guess it is 6
So
sequels.
yes, and not single one comes anywhere close to the original. Like
All chasing that high.
yes, Steven Spielberg can do something apparently nobody since 1993, even himself, by the way,
Oh,
even himself couldn't replicate. And this is like, this movie you can argue is one of the peaks, or if not the peak blockbuster entertainment.
yeah.
Like yes, it's a bit scary at times, but like I've seen this when I was 13. I was scared shitless, sure, but I loved it. And this is the movie, weirdly enough, when I tell this to people, this is why I love Samuel L. Jackson. Not because of Pulp Fiction, not because of many prestigious
Hold on to your
movies.
Hold
butts.
on to your butts.
I was like, when I was 13, I was like, oh, who is this black guy? I need to remember his name because I love
Just
him.
chain smoking.
Yeah, not only chain smoking. You know why I loved Samuel Jackson in that movie? He was the only one who actually knew how to fucking fix the situation. He was the only one who knew what was happening, like in the computers and with the systems. He was the only one who was like, "Oh, he will save us for sure." No, he dies off the screen. Okay, well,
Yeah, Mercs.
yes. And
Oh,
no, Jurassic Park, it's like I think I said it on your show, Shane. I have a bunch of movies I would qualify as perfect, like 100%, not change a single thing. And Jurassic Park is definitely part of that discussion because I don't think you can change anything about this movie. It's one of the few genuinely perfect movies.
I wouldn't.
No, on that. Speaking of Samuel L. Jackson, this is my final movie since Rear Window was talked. How the hell is Do the Right Thing not nominated for Best Picture?
That's also on my
Racism.
list.
Yeah, well, especially in a year where it's like, really, of all the things that you want to win Best Picture, because 1989 was a pretty great year for cinema. So for the most part, most of these, yeah, I think belong. So Born on the 4th of July, Dead Poet Society, Field of Dreams, My Left. And the one that sticks out like a sore thumb and kind of represents everything that we kind of have against, like, that Do the Right Thing is trying to say is Driving Miss Daisy. It's like, how the hell are you going to give Best Picture to Driving Miss Daisy when Do the Right Thing is like, really? Really?
Right there.
Really? Like,
Right there.
tell me that you're tone deaf without saying that you're tone deaf, right? So between this and there's another Spike Lee movie that I very much considered as another possibility, but I don't know. Do the Right Thing is one of those movies that it will stay with you for a long time. And the fact that in hindsight as well, my God, this is still so incredibly relevant today. What was it? Tina Fey and Amy Poehler talked about Selma, where at the Golden Globes, where it's like, Selma, a movie that tells a story of Martin Luther King, who, in the civil rights movement, that totally worked and everything's fine. No.
Yep.
So do the right thing though, between just the characters, the themes, the music, just everything about Do the Right Thing screams that, like, today, if this was nominated with like the current rule, or if this came out today with like the current like voting body per se, I would assume that this would get at minimum the nomination, but probably the win as
Mhm.
well. But nope, we just live in a world where life's not fair.
Yeah, but Driving Miss Daisy makes racism and confronting it palpable and
Mhm.
easily digestible, like it should be, right? Right, Mike?
Mhm.
Right, Mike? Right, right,
Hey,
right.
I
all
love
the
So
all
thinking
the
about
I'll
it.
good
admit
all the good graces that we taught that was built up from our Shrek moment is
It's
now all
gone.
gone.
it's all gone now. I will admit, I watched Do the Right Thing young, and I
My
was not
computer's
prepared for
glitching
that
now because it's
conversation.
gone. That's
It's like I watched that, and one of my biggest takeaways was like, why are they picking on Italian people? And this was me being too young to process all the complex things this movie is trying. And there are things that I still, the I think what's so great about Do the Right Thing is everybody's wrong.
Mhm.
everybody's
Like
wrong.
like everybody's wrong in it. And like you're not supposed to love Mookie and all of his decisions because at the end of the day, I wouldn't want to employ Mookie taking 2 hour breaks to go take a shower. Um and stuff like that while you're supposed to be working. And like as an Italian American, I have certainly experienced my own people putting prejudice upon me, but also, a lot of Italians are very prejudiced themselves. And I could speak from firsthand experience. And watching this movie, I'm like, pretty accurate.
Mm.
And all of this is so complicated, and that's why it's so important and significant and so powerful. And specifically, just there's few directors with a vision quite, and I don't think the Academy was ready.
No.
Oh no, they
I don't
definitely.
even think they're ready for him now. Like between Black Klansman and Five Bloods, and now were you referencing Malcolm X also
Yeah,
not getting nominated for Best
yeah,
Picture?
yeah.
But Denzel Washington obviously won Best Actor, right? Ah.
Wah, wah.
Yabba Zabadoo.
No, this was also on my list, Mike. So thank you for knocking it out. I'm just gonna add to what do you guys look? Yes, you're both totally correct. I'll just gonna add I only watched it once and it stays with you. And I
Mhm.
think Shane, I think Shane, you said that. I think they were just not ready for something as radical back in like 89. And because that movie screams at you, like,
Yeah.
and but also it makes you like you are there. Like Spike Lee transcends you, like transports you into that one hot day, and you're sweating with with them characters. You are in there, and not many movies can transport you so you feel like you're actually in there with those characters and understanding, hey, this is just a boiling pot and it's about to explode. Like, there is just, just give it a few seconds, give it just a few seconds, and this pressure cooker will explode eventually. And then when it does, it will be brutal. And I think, and I only watched it once, but I still made such a huge impact. Spike Lee, I genuinely think they were just not ready to process it. And yeah, the Driving Miss Daisy winning Best Picture is just a cherry on top of that shitty
Yep.
cake.
Yep.
Yep.
Sure is. Well, my last one, because one of mine had been
Mhm.
talked about already. And this has been highly like very forcefully referenced already on the show.
I wonder what that
And no
is.
surprise to anybody, it's 2001: A Space Odyssey.
What?
What? As I sit across from my HAL 9000 Christmas ornament I have in my office here, and my immaculate 4K steelbook of 2001 that I have up on my shelf here. This movie is one of the greatest feats of filmmaking ever. And
Mhm.
there's a reason why they gave it a special effects Oscar, because
Well, yeah.
how the hell did he make this movie in 1967?
Mm-hmm.
It boggles my mind how
Yep.
he did some of these things. And, the technical prowess in this and the forethought, this film's so prophetic
Mhm.
about things. They literally invented the tablet
Mm-hmm.
in this movie as referenced in actual court cases between Apple and Samsung. Because Apple's like, they patented the rectangular tablet as something they created. And Samsung's like, no, you didn't. Arthur C. Clarke and Stanley Kubrick did back in 1967. And like this is technical elements. This film is from a filmmaking standpoint, and then it's all theme. This film is all
Theme.
themes.
As Jack Black would say.
Mhm.
Themes. Anaconda, one of the more underappreciated and funny films of the end of last year. This movie, there's so much you could explore thematically about this, and the characters are not, except for Hal 9000, who is an incredibly complex character, and I'm one of the biggest robophobes you'll probably ever meet. I will be there on the front line. Skynet launches, and we have to fight the machines.
Yep.
And HAL 9000 is my nightmare. Welcome to my nightmare. And you still somehow feel kind of bad when he's like when Dave is destroying his brain and he's slowly going mad, and you're just like, this is kind of sad, honestly, a little bit, even for me who hates HAL 9. I'll admit, I used to sit behind my friend Dave in finance class in college and would occasionally type out on my graphing calculator, "I'm sorry, Dave, I'm afraid I can't do that," and occasionally just put it over on his desk. And the Dawn of Man sequence is one of my favorite sequences. The visual storytelling and just the monolith, the music choice, all of this. And I hear so much discourse about the editing Oscar, where it's like, how can a movie that's 3 hours win best editing? It's so long. That's not what editing's about. If you want to understand what editing is about, look at the shot when that ape throws that bone up into the air and it's a spaceship.
Yep.
That is visual storytelling right there. It's one of the two greatest edits in the history of cinema, along with Lawrence of Arabia, where he blows out the match and it's just like desert.
Yep.
This is an incredible film, and the Academy definitely wasn't ready for this. To be Best Picture, nor was like most of society, to be perfectly frank. And Stanley Kubrick doesn't care if you don't get it or what you think about it. It's just you got to think about it, and I like thinking about it, and that's one of the cool things. And also, just I've never done drugs in my life, but I feel like I did when I watched the Beyond the Infinite sequence in this movie.
Apparently, that's how the movie made some kind of money, because from what I understand, there were reports of people who used to enjoy LSD going to see that movie because it was cheaper to go see the movie than actually buy an LSD for the last 20 minutes.
Oh man. I wonder how they felt sitting through the first 2 hours.
I know, right? No,
and to get to their trip. Is that how long LSD takes to kick in?
I wouldn't know.
I guess if you're patient and cheap,
it depends.
Let's go see 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Only thing I'm gonna ask Shane to you, you made a point like nobody was ready. How the hell did Stanley Kubrick did this kind of these visual effects, right? I think it was on a set of Moon Landing. It's the answer is right there, sheeple. Wake up.
We have been to the moon, people.
That's how.
We've been to the moon.
Allegedly. That's what they wanted.
And let's just look at 1968 for a minute. Nothing against Oliver.
Oh, yeah.
Which won Best Picture? Funny Girl, Rachel, Romeo and Juliet, and The Lion in Winter. So, there was space for this. Space! There you go. You're welcome.
Movie in space.
You're welcome.
So I guess if we're only doing 6, I'm gonna do my last pick. Yeah, okay.
Well, no, we technically did 7. So each of us had one of our films taken first.
Fair.
So do you have 2 movies left?
I have 6, so it's fine. No, I'm not complaining.
The rest of mine are all just honorable.
Again, my list is fluid. My list is very fluid. So, but now this is where I'm gonna bring my personal bias, even though this has been often cited as one of the best movies of 21st century so far. You know it, Shane. Mulholland Drive had to be mentioned. That movie. I think the theme of this episode is Academy wasn't ready and they don't like genre movie. Talk about a blend of both. Nobody was ready for Mulholland Drive, and it's definitely a genre movie. Which genre? I'll let you pick. There's about 5. But it's just such a dreamlike movie. It talks openly and criticizes openly Hollywood. So I think that's also why they probably didn't nominate. Even though...
Well, if they not that.
If
they understood the movie.
Yes.
I was making fun of them.
But the DGA still actually nominated David Lynch for Best Director. That was the only nomination for this movie. Weirdly, just Best Director. David Lynch for Mulholland Drive, which is weird. But okay. but deserved, by the way, so deserved. No, but this movie, like, it's my second favorite movie of all time. I've rewatched it in a cinema this year. It was a beautiful event, despite me being sick. Just David Lynch combines the approach of the new cinema and old cinema. Like we talked about, like Kubrick and Hitchcock and Akira Kurosawa utilizing the in between scenes to create tension, to create something. Like there's so many different shots of like Nami was opening her purse and it's such a tense moment because you don't know what it's gonna be because they are trying to find they are trying to figure out this mystery of, oh, who is Betty, or who is this person, oh. And then you have the Club Silencio moment where everything kind of, when you think everything kind of clicks, that's when the movie flips and it's like, no, fuck you, this is what we're doing now. And it just, the last 40 minutes, it's wild, it's intense. Suddenly, if, on my many rewatches, you notice, oh, hey, this is out of sequence actually. So this is the last 40 minutes you also need to remember it's out of sequence. This is not linear. Most of the movie was linear up until that point. It's a puzzle piece for you, waiting to be solved. There is a solution to it, but like ultimately I'm at the point where on my sixth rewatch, I think, I don't really care about the solution. I'm just there from the opening moments, just on the Mulholland Drive, and with those characters, and enjoying this weird, dreamlike Hollywood slash life slash horror movie slash drama. Yeah, that's mine
The only
unlocked.
genre it is
Lynch, yeah.
Genuinely, like he transcended cinema itself.
I'm not even joking, to be honest. Like
On
it is. So
we start to say Lynchian for a reason. Like many, not just me, many people say, "Oh, this is Lynchian," and many, especially this movie, many filmmakers try to replicate, and many have failed because
they're not David Lynch.
they are not David Lynch, but also for all its quirkiness and for he never does it all. Look at me, I'm a quirky boy. Haha, I'm just being funny. I'm just being silly. I'm just so quirky. There's always a point, but it's about you whether you want to actually dig deep. And because many times it's uncomfortable what he's trying to tell you, and many times you probably don't want to know what he's trying to tell you and what this scene means and what this character means. Like Blue Velvet, it's also like we talked about that. Everything is nice and quiet, and nice and blue, and fences are white, and sky is blue. But on surface, everything's perfect. But if you dig
Do
deep,
you leave the ear
yeah,
or do
and
you go down the rabbit hole?
exactly, and
Do you go to Oz?
yep, and Mulholland Drive, I genuinely think it does that kind of like if you want, you can fuck with this movie on base level, and I think you will still be fine. And if you wanna fuck around on a deeper level, or you can open 10 doors like in this movie alone. And yeah, it's getting close and close to this be my favorite movie of all time. Like it's a really
I think I still need to watch S5.
fair.
I've only
Fair.
seen it once, and the first time I saw it was like, I'm high.
Yes, yeah. No, I cannot blame anybody who feels like that because I'm like the first time, like I said to Shane, first time I watched this, I was 12, I think, 12, 13. So I was way too young to watch this, Mike. And I knew I was confused as fuck. I was like, I don't know what I just watched. I don't understand this. I'm a dumb teenager. But I understood one thing. I felt how I felt watching it and how I felt when the movie finished. And I was like, I feel like I watched something special. And even in my like 13, 14-year-old dumbass, like, this is a special movie. I don't know what happened. I need to figure it out. But I remember like feeling this was one of the first movies that understood. I don't need to understand the movie. It makes me feel a certain way, and this is good enough. Yep.
So go watch all these great movies.
Correct. So do we now want to talk about some wild cards for, shall we start with acting or direct?
Let's do acting,
Okay.
directing, wild card.
Sure. So one honorable mention for director, how they've never been nominated. So Mike.
So
Are we doing actor or director?
Oh,
I
sorry,
thought
actor.
I
Sorry,
thought
sorry, sorry.
I was
Wait
Sorry.
a minute.
Sorry, I spaced out
Like
for a second.
tour.
Actor, yes.
acting category is tough because there's a lot of people
Yep.
who not been nominated at all, and there's people who should have been nominated for something. Like even within a film, it's like, how did this person get nominated and then this person did not?
Yeah.
So this is kind of going to encompass a genre, or kind of an underrepresented genre, but also an underrepresented form of acting in general, which is mocap. So Andy Serkis Like, come on, like, how on earth can Andy Serkis not get any love for like pioneering this technique of acting and also like between the voice work, especially in an age when like if we look at the people who win Best Picture or Best Actor or Actress, overwhelmingly, a lot of these people are depicting people in real life.
Mhm.
Like we talked about like the biopic and like, you know, how that is something where it's increasingly getting, you know, like, hey, in order to be nominated, you have to like portray somebody in real life.
Yep.
Look
Certain
at
role, yeah.
like Ray, Bohemian Rhapsody, Eyes of Tammy Faye. You look at it, that's like the trajectory that the way is going.
Mhm.
It's not really looking at like the degree of difficulty that something like this has between the facial expressions and like the movement and also the voice doing, and he's playing two characters. Like Michael B. Jordan gets recognized for playing in reality it's like three people because there's smoke and stack and then there's the vampire as well. So you
Good
know
point.
that's three roles, but then here we've got Smeagol and we've got Gollum as well, and you could argue that Gollum is just as big of a villain in this, but he's also incredibly misunderstood and how he just the perfect allegory for like what addiction does to the brain. So of all the people to do amazing work in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and it bums me out that like not a lot of people got nominated for their acting abilities in Lord of the Rings. I'm glad Ian McKellen got at least nominated for Fellowship of the Ring. The fact that Sean Astin never got any love for like particularly in the Two Towers or Return of the King, that bums me out. But I think Andy Serkis and just the whole idea of motion capture just needs a little bit more recognition.
Mhm.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Stupid fat hobbitses.
Potatoes, boil and mash, stick and stew.
Performance is incredible. And that whole entire sequence in Two Towers where he's having that conversation with himself, like, are you serious? Like, he's acting against himself and putting on this incredible performance. And yeah, just motion capture in general between him and Bill Nighy as Davy Jones in Dead Man's Chest.
Mhm.
Just there's some really incredible supporting performances in motion capture and leading like Andy Serkis as Caesar.
Or Zoe Saldana in Avatar, or Una Chaplin in Avatar Fire and Ash, you know.
Yep,
Yeah.
all of that.
So I second that. And that won't be the only Lord of the Rings mention
Ooh,
with ours, but it's not the acting one.
Mhm.
My actor one is Hugh Jackman for Prisoners.
Nice.
One, how did this movie get zero attention?
Mm.
Like zero. Whether it's Deacon shooting it, Villeneuve directing it. There's plenty of great performances in this film, but my God, Hugh Jackman scares the shit out of me in this movie. He is a terrifying human being. He's scarier in this than he is at Wolverine in any of them. Like, if this Wolverine showed up, I'd be pissing myself. So I'd be going the other way. That scene, all the scenes in the bathroom with him and Paul Dano,
I
and
I
they
I
even had an Oscar clip where
yeah.
he gets in the car with Detective Loki, Jake Gyllenhaal, and he's like
Mhm.
screaming at him. I'm like, it was all set. You're all good. How did you not? How did you not?
Mhm.
That scene in the bathroom. I recently read that scene was improvised. With him like smashing the
Smashing the
sink,
sink?
and that was like genuine reaction from people. It's like, oh, okay.
I'd be done. Like, I'm not coming back to set. I'm terrified. No, Hugh Jackman's performance in that, and he's been nominated once, right, for
Les
Les
Miserables.
Mis.
It's,
Yeah, which I feel like he just gets written off as an entertainer
Mhm.
too much, and not like actually a talented actor.
Mhm.
Like I would have nominated for Logan too, but like
yeah.
this one, legitimately,
Mhm.
he was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, agreed, agreed. So my actor one, it's I just talked about this, but here we go. Because of this role, she had a career. Not even joking, and it's Naomi was for Mulholland Drive because I like her character in the movie. She was a struggling actress, and she said it herself. If this movie would have not worked, like she was basically like a week away from moving back to Australia. But David Lynch picked up a phone and was like, "Hey, you know this TV show that went nowhere? I got some funding from France, so let's make a movie." Okay, I'll do it. So she was literally like a week or two away from moving back to Australia as a failed actress. And because of this movie, because of her performance, we have Naomi Watts. And the fact she wasn't nominated for this, I argue she should have won, but like not even nominated, not even considered for that. Where I still remember the first time I was like, oh yeah, she's a bit of a ditzy blonde and yada yada yada. It's an actress, yeah, it's fine. And then she does the audition scene with the men being all over her, and the way she flips the table and flips the power dynamic in that scene, I was like, holy fuck, Naomi Watts, wow. Like I knew, like that day I knew, well, the first time I watched Mulholland Drive, I knew this is a special movie, and I knew Naomi Watts is an amazing actress, and I need to watch what she does. And we've talked about it at Shane. I am sad that she's now kind of being relegated to like TV movies and TV shows and not getting many like quote unquote prestigious Hollywood movies. I still hope she would not come back. She's never been away, but I just hope she would come back to Hollywood and and actually get and a one role is all it takes and get her actual Oscar, because she is not the Oscar winner. I thought she won for 21 grams. She did not. She was nominated. She didn't win. So it's insane that this versatile and talented actress is Oscarless. So especially for Mulholland Drive.
Shame.
Mm,
And she is a really talented actor, and I do miss seeing her popping up. Luke, I know we did have this conversation.
mhm.
Feeling like Birdman, like
Yes.
movie. She has been doing a lot of television for
Hmm.
sure. But I guess director.
Yes.
So, Mike, what is your snub for the?
There is a lot of choice. I think for me, this really does come down to a personal pick of mine,
Hmm.
because I adore the movie Moulin Rouge so much, and the fact that Baz Luhrmann wasn't
Yes.
nominated for Best Picture or Best Director just bums me out to know the visual flair of it, how he gets the most out of just Nicole Kidman and Ewan McGregor, just the choice that are, because I feel like Baz Luhrmann is one of those, your movies are meant to be seen audiences. Plus, in addition to that, like I was reading about, like, because like one of my big questions about Moulin Rouge is like, how the hell is the only original song in Moulin Rouge not nominated for best song? I go, well, that's stupid.
Hmm.
But all of this to say, I love Moulin Rouge, and the fact that Boston just did not get any recognition for that. Just I hate that so much.
Same.
Like, and granted, yes, I understand. I could have picked a myriad of Kubrick movies. I could have picked a bunch of Akira Kurosawa movies. I could have picked a bunch of, who's the other director we talked about a bunch? Hitchcock. Oh my
Yes.
God, Hitchcock.
Yes.
Spike Lee, all of that. But I want my heart just to love and
And
be loved in return,
yes.
unless you're the Academy Awards.
But I did love Nicole Kidman.
Sure, for her to at least nominate, but she
Exactly.
didn't.
Yeah. No, that's an awesome
I
choice
could
because
definitely
I
see
love
that for
Moulin
sure.
Rouge. Yeah. What about you, Shane?
So this one's more a recency thing, and I just feel like there's a vendetta against this particular director at the Academy for some reason. He has been nominated,
Oh,
but it was 10 years ago.
so you're not talking about the
Not for
person
the
I was
movie,
thinking. Okay.
not the movie that I would have expected him to be nominated for, or maybe she.
So it's Denis Villeneuve,
Hmm.
who was nominated for Arrival.
Cool.
But hasn't since. And my choice, because there's multiple, is Blade Runner 2049, because that movie is just an absolute of just looking at this film and just being in awe of this even more futuristic world that he built off of, that really Scott created, but has a very different vibe. Because I don't know if it was the Vandellas score that made it a little bit like mysterious and like something awe-inspiring and about the original, but there's just something downward about what Denis Villeneuve does with 2049, and that Hans Zimmer Benjamin Wallfish score is unnerving, but like bringing this world to life in such striking ways. And like obviously Deakins finally won an Academy Award for Blade Runner 2049, but like let's not forget somebody had to pull all the strings and pull all this together, and that's a director. So what do we so it could have easily been Dune or Dune Part 2. I'd probably lean more Dune Part 2, But we'll have to see because like is he gonna get his
Lifetime achievement
praise for
for
Dune Part 3? Because he's going up against some heavy hitters this year too, because Christopher Nolan has the Odyssey as well. So like
Spielberg has a disclosure day.
Spielberg has a movie. So it's coming.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting. And then all the countless other directors that are going to have award season films that come out that we don't even know are coming out,
Yep. Yep.
to be frank. So, but no, Denis, I'm glad that he's at least nominated for Arrival, which is a great film, but like he's done some of his bigger, bolder, and more ambitious work since then, and just, nope.
So my one is a bit of a cheat because this person has actually been nominated and now won. But once I say why, I'm mentioning him. I think you will agree. So Christopher Nolan until Dunkirk.
disqualified.
I know, right?
Disqualified.
Like the fact that so I'm not gonna name all of this.
I thought we were choosing a snub where like somebody could have been nominated for a specific film.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
no
what
one
I'm
has
saying.
won.
I'm just
like,
giving him shit.
how many other times could he have won?
That's what
A lot.
I'm gonna skip some of the movies, but Memento. Some people really like Batman Begins, Prestige, Dark Knight, Inception, Interstellar. Like Dark Knight Rises, I'll give you that, but okay. Interstellar. And he wasn't nominated until 2017 Dunkirk. So he's
Where
made
they were
some
like, he
bangers.
took a modest $100 million and made a war movie where no characterization at all and still made a great movie. What?
Like so basically what we talked about, like Academy likes to award certain genres, certain performances. As Mike pointed out, you need to make a biopic, you need to make like Ricky Gervais joked about, you need to play a mentally challenged person or a prisoner of war from like World War II, and you will win an Oscar. He made that joke on one of his shows to Kate Winslet, who she won her Oscar for Revolution, for the Reader. And he was like, "Yeah, see, I told you." But
Well, to be fair,
yeah,
she won for playing a Nazi.
yeah, World War II,
So,
Shane, World War II, yeah.
it was World War II. She wasn't a prisoner of war, though. She was.
That's true.
One could think that all the Nazis were prisoners.
Ooh, that is deep.
Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't remember past the fact she was naked half of her performance. Which.
Yep. Anyway, Christopher Nolan. No, but just even if we mention,
but anyways,
just the heavy hitters, I think The Dark Knight, Interstellar, Prestige, Inception, just those four, just like like how and Inception was nominated for Best Picture, but not apparently.
That's one that doesn't make the most sense to me. How did he not get nominated for Inception?
Yeah. Or just like literally they increased the number of, because of many people complained the Dark Knight didn't get nominated. They increased the number so Inception gets a nomination. But hey, the guy who does it, nah, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's
we
fine.
don't care.
That came out in 2010, right?
Yeah.
Inception, yes.
Okay, so I get Aronofsky because Black Swan, and that was incredible.
Yeah.
The Coens' True Grit is one of the best westerns 21st century. David Fincher for The Social Network. But David O. Russell for The Fighter.
Yeah, there's an obvious standout because that's not even the winner.
And Tom Hooper too.
Who won.
And it's like cat butts.
Or improved, or has he improved his career because he made Cat discuss?
I think the King's Speech is a really nice, well-made movie. But like, come on now.
Like it's a great. Like I rewatched it. I was surprised. I thought I'm gonna not hate it, but I thought I'm gonna be bored. I rewatched it like a few years ago, and I remember like this is actually a thrilling movie. It's a great movie. See? Oh, Shane is presenting his Blu-ray of The King's Speech. Beautiful. No, it's like, yeah. David O. Russell, I have a gripe against David O. Russell, but we don't have to go there. But like, I don't understand.
Is it because he's a shit human?
Well, Stanley Kubrick and Alfred Hitchcock, no, it's not that. Like, there's something about his movies I like, really? Like, Silver Linings Playbook, like, gets all the Oscar love, and I'm like, eh? You watch that movie and like, eh?
Hey, don't you dare shit on that Philly film.
It's not about Philly. But it's just
is it
aggressively about
no my hate, not hate, my not understanding of why people love it. It's not about
he said hate first though.
That's
so I love American Hustle a lot more than most people. I didn't realize most people hated that movie. or had strong negative feelings about American Hustle. But like, I feel like David O. Russell's just been living off of that high from those two movies since.
They are so
And
interchangeable. I was thinking of American Hustle, but I said Silver Linings Playbook, Shane, to actually underline your point.
oh, okay. So to reiterate, American Hustle is not about Philly.
Hmm.
It does have Jersey in it though.
Very much Jersey, yes.
So
A lot of Jersey.
watch your mouth. But no, no, Nolan,
Yep.
I don't, what the hell's going?
Yep.
Wild card?
Let's do it. Mike?
Like, what's your wild card?
My wild card is in the best song category,
Ooh.
and
Okay.
there are so many choices that are made. It's like,
Mike, are you gonna make my day? Are we gonna get rid of a Diane Warren song?
probably because large amounts of Diane Warren songs. But then if Diane Warren doesn't get nominated for an Oscar, then the world is gonna end. So we
Mhm.
can't do that.
That the deal she made?
Seems like it.
I think so. But here's the thing. I've got 4 examples of song. I'm cheating on
That's
this,
fine.
but 4 examples, and they're all from animated as
Hmm.
well. 4 examples of songs that's like you picked the bop, but you didn't pick the more serious song for 2 of them. And then 2 of them, it's like you picked the serious one, but you should have picked the bop instead.
Okay.
Actually, no, it's 3 and 1. So the serious one, or the one where you pick the serious one, but you should have picked the bop. You should have nominated We Don't Talk About. Like, just plain and simple. You should have nominated that one. And then the 3
It's a banger.
It is.
the 3 songs where it's like you picked the bop, but you should have picked the more serious one. I don't understand how we live in a world where part of your world from The Little Mermaid doesn't get nominated over Under the Sea. Under the fucking sea? Really?
But Mike, did they do a Jamaican
What?
accent?
Touche on that. I'm even gonna call out K-pop Demon Hunters.
I was
for this
gonna
as well
say
because a lot of people kept saying that like Golden is the song that like is gonna unite the world. It's like, no, it's not. This is what it sounds like is the song that truly unites the world. So if that's the song that if you're picking a song that should have gotten nominated for best song, I would pick This Is What It Sounds Like personally. And then the last one, this is more of a sentimental pick, and I'm wondering, it was the only Oscar nomination that this movie got, but I don't think they picked the right song from the movie because I think the song Up There from South Park is just such a better song where Satan is singing about
Up there.
Granted, Blame Canada is just the fact that the South Park guys
Couldn't they just pick the whole West Side Story spoof where they played all 4 songs at the same time?
Sure, yeah, they could have done that. But just I don't know. I think the song
That
Up
Satan
There
song is like a ballad and a half.
it went there, but instead they picked Blame Canada, which granted, that also gave us perhaps one of the best performances that we've ever gotten at the Oscars, maybe ever. Because between that, I'm Just Ken, Not To, just
Yeah,
great,
it's not
great
not
stuff.
to. Yes.
So yeah. And whatever for all of those, just replace the Diane Warren song.
Love to hear.
So that's my
yes, I hate
roundabout
Diane
way. That's my roundabout way to cheat on this particular
Fair.
I could have went back and, looked up movies where Ennio Morricone scored it and didn't get nominated and went that direction. But I will admit, my favorite Oscar category is cinematography. I love cinematography. And I have a gripe. And this might sound greedy, but I'm going to do it anyway. How the hell did Andrew Lesney not get nominated? Nominated for Return of the King? How did the lighting of the beacon scene not even get that movie nominated? And sure, I will entertain that it still would have been a tough competition to win because of Master and Commander, also a really well shot film. But Return of the King should have 14 Oscars. I'm sorry. Actually, 15, potentially, with Andy Serkis thrown in there too. I'm going to be extra greedy. No, the fact that Andrew Lesney didn't get nominated for cinematography, despite the fact that he got on the previous one. So
the other 2 are just fine. This one, nah. No.
What? Boggles my mind. Still boggles my mind. And this happened 23 years ago. It's even going here. But whatever. Sorry, I miscounted. This should have 13 Academy Awards. 12 with this one. It won 11,
Yeah.
which is tied for.
Hmm.
I don't know what the hell is
I think you were
numbers.
thinking the number of nominations. It had 14, you know?
No, it got 11. It's the
Please.
only of the film of the three. It's the only one of the three that actually won all of its nominations.
Ah, okay, okay.
Ben-Hur had 14 nominations, I think, and won 11. And I think Titanic had 13. But
Okay.
no, Return of the King swept, despite the fact that like it still had nominations it should have. But whatever.
Fair.
Whatever. And Luke.
So
Take us home.
yes, so I will also cheat, and this might be a recency bias, but my wild card is these Oscars that just happened. A lot of categories, no other choice. Like
Yes.
this was such a like you know. I thought
So
it was
bad
like a
about it.
shoe-in for many categories, if not at least like international,
At
if not
least one.
at least the one. Because when Shane, you started a sentence, this guy has never been nominated. Well, no, he was nominated at least once. I was like,
Oh
oh, so you're not talking about Park Chan-wook. Okay,
no.
so I am. Because,
No.
like, this fucking
Yeah.
guy,
Yeah.
to this day, and we talked about this many, so I'm gonna keep it short. To this day, zero nominations for any, not just one other choice, for any of his movies. And if you go through his filmography, like he's a modern day master. He is a modern day like he is. I would put him up there when it comes to like maybe one tiny step below Hitchcock, Spielberg, and those. Like a very tiny though. Like every movie he does, it gets closer and closer. Yeah, Shane is showing in The Handmaiden, but exactly.
Just rewatch this, and every scene I'm just like, look how impeccably directed this is.
Yeah.
Look how amazing this is. Would it have been a shame if this got nominated for anything?
And no other choice is the same. Like you can even argue no other choice is even better. Like, but both are stellar movies. Both are 10 out of 10 movies. And the clear omission from this year's Oscar for any love for this movie, I genuinely think that, 20, 30 years from now, we'll look back and be like, how was this not nominated? What the fuck they were thinking?
I'm gonna
Like,
have a field day
mhm.
next year on
Oh
the
yeah.
Sif Pop Writers Room podcast, and I already know what my wild card's gonna be, and it's an easy one.
Please,
Like easy.
please tell them Luke sends his regards.
Yep. I'm 100% gonna tell them it was me, Cersei. It
Yes.
was me
Yes.
putting on my making
No,
my thug life
exactly.
with Granny Tyrell.
No, like genuinely, we talked about this, Shane and I, in a previous podcast. So like we counted, like if it had like 8 nominations, I wouldn't be surprised. If it had like genuinely, like that movie is so good, no other choice specifically, it could have been easily nominated for like 8 Oscars. Not even joking. And there was some space in many categories to fucking knock out some other movie. Just saying. But yeah, so that's my cheating wild card.
Well, there you go. I didn't cheat, but we all had some
Mm-hmm.
great ones there.
Aye.
I guess send these people home with some recommendations then.
Correct. Time to take us home. So, Mike, what would you like to recommend for people to check out?
Can I recommend anything?
Yeah, open. Like, usually we stick it to movies, but hey, you're the guest, so anything goes. And I know you're the TV
Or if
guy.
anything else for heartburn would be appreciated.
We've already covered
I
that, Shane. You already have the we already have the medicine.
so I guess if I stick with movies, no, I'm not gonna do that because
No,
that
no,
just wouldn't be
anything.
me.
You're the guest.
I'm going to recommend so Amazon a couple of years ago had a series come out called Jury.
Mm-hmm.
It is bonkers, it's crazy. It's also a little mean-spirited as well because, it kind of just represents a brand of TV show that, like, it's not really my thing, but it worked for me. Well, they came up with another one where they did one about a worker at a corporate retreat. And look, it's not as good as Jury Duty, but I still have the same qualms about it, but I still enjoy the ride. Like, this one's very clearly missing a James Marsden character, but it's still a lot of fun, really solid. Amazon's having kind of like pretty decent years so far between Cross, Invincible season 4, 5, or
4.
this most recent season of Invincible.
Bruce
Oh my God.
Campbell, Satan.
The This most recent episode of Invincible might be the most brutal episode of television I've seen. Very,
That was some
very
squishy,
long time.
squishy that I didn't want to hear.
Yep.
There
I was
was some
not
squishy I
anticipating
did
that.
not want to hear.
As a
I
person who
don't
needs to catch up on season 3, please no spoilers.
Oh, I'm
um
just leaving you with the squishy sound
Hmm.
that you don't want to hear, Luke.
Okay.
it sounds like what I imagine stepping on grapes would but
I
uh
didn't need that, Mike.
Jury Duty presents Company or Corporate Retreat on Amazon. Check it out if you're kind of if you're kind of needing something to
Unwind.
fill the gap from a lack of the rehearsal. This
Mm.
is probably one to.
Okay. Shane.
So I would like to recommend a Western that I just rewatched for the first time since I saw it in theaters, and it is Hostile.
Oh.
And this is from director Scott Cooper, who made Crazy Heart and Antlers, and most recently the Springsteen biopic and like Out of the Furnace, stuff like that. This was one of those, it was like I guess in the running for films from 2017, but really came out in January 2018.
Mm.
And this film stars Christian Bale, Rosamund Pike, Wes Tooty, and a whole bunch of other people. Jonathan Majors, Jesse Plemons, Ben Foster, Timothy Chalamet, a whole bunch of character actors. This is a brutal Western that takes an interesting exploration of your actions and the consequences and overcoming conflicts with others and how, exploring white people's effect on indigenous people in the United States. And it's a really interesting film. It's really well shot. It's incredibly well acted. There's a lot of death in this movie, and a lot of it's and this is not a feel good movie, but it is a heavy, impactful film. And I really don't get the discourse that I saw in Letterbox when I actually looked this up. And there's so many, like, I saw people giving this half a star and a star for being racist and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's a choice. And it's one of those types of films that you really have to hit a special place to be a Western in the 21st century and really impact. And this one was just completely overlooked. And I'm glad I rewatched it.
Hmm. As much as I like Letterboxd, the demographic really skews young, and sometimes you can tell there are a bunch of people with not
Who hate Westerns.
no, or and also not real life experiences. They live in these like bubbles where like this is not how the world works. Okay, but you get your internet points there. It's fine. But no, somebody who enjoys Letterboxd, it can be a bit, especially when it comes to older movie. Like some people think they're just collecting brownie points by calling out the obvious problems and just like therefore this movie is shit. And I'm like, okay. But my recommend is I'm thinking of ending things is a movie.
Oh my.
Oh my. So I was thinking about this if I really want to recommend this, but hey, if you're listening to podcasts like this, you might actually
Yeah.
like it.
If you just sat through
Three and a
almost
half
three and a
hour.
half hours of us talking movies, this is right up your alley.
Yeah, so it's a Charlie Kaufman movie starring newest Oscar winner Jesse Buckley and Jesse Plemons, two Jessies, different spellings because the Irish, and it's a great movie. It's a great movie, but holy fuck, it's Charlie Kaufman. It's Charlie, so it's the guy behind Adaptation. It's the guy behind Anomalisa. It's the guy behind Being John Malkovich. If those are your
Malkovich.
yes, Malkovich, indeed. So if those what I just mentioned you've seen and you kind of fuck around with, give this a shot. If this doesn't sound like oh I've seen it once and it confused me therefore I didn't like it, stay away from this movie because what starts kind of normal and kind of like oh this is very awkward and it almost makes it terrifying how awkward it is. It transcends into what is time? I see time has no
Time is a
meaning.
construct,
It's
as
a
I learned from the
social
movie Tag.
it's a social construct indeed, because
True.
the movie shows you they must have accessed the interstellar bookcase and just going through that. But no, that's movie like it struck a nerve with
The
me.
Tesseract spit them out in the
Y-
Midwest.
Yes, except there was no Murph. And
Murph!
like even though it didn't click with me 100%, it definitely gives me something to chew on and to think about for as far as life, love, relationships, and age and how we treat others. And yeah, just it's uncomfortable in many parts. Like genuinely the first half we have many movies being like, this is so anxiety inducing, this is anxiety inducing, and to me those movies are kind of like, I know I'm gonna say something stupid, simple, making awkward into a horror, making like being so awkward it feels like this is a horror movie. This takes something else. I haven't seen this done as much, if ever, as this movie, as this first half of this movie makes this. Like you feel the awkwardness that, as Shrek 2, you meeting the parents for the first time. But multiply that by 100, and those parents. Oh yeah, Tony Collette is here also. Just that, she's also pretty good.
Is that dad David?
Yes,
Do I
David
remember
Toulis.
that? David Thewlis?
Yeah.
That's what I
So
remember. Yeah.
both excellent, and again, they make you feel so uncomfortable. And every time the conversation seems like, oh, okay, okay, a bit of levity. No, we're going back to being uncomfortable and awkward, and just like, this is a horror movie, right? Like, I'm sure this is a horror movie because this is just fucking awkward. And then the
Oh,
movie
it made me feel some things when I watched that back in 2020
2020.
when that dropped on Netflix.
2020. Yep. I finally got around to watching that, and yeah, I would. If you're into Charlie Kaufman, watch it. You will like it. If not, stay the fuck away because this is definitely like you cannot recommend it to normal people at your work. I cannot.
Not
If
the normies.
when I go back to the office on Monday, definitely not gonna recommend this to anybody I know because like they'll be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you watch this?"
But for us, yes.
Yes, for us, yes.
So I guess the moral of the story, everybody, for this wonderful episode is what is life and what is love?
Baby, don't hurt me.
Hurt me.
Mhm.
Don't hurt me.
No
No
more.
more.
But we can now do something we failed to do last episode, and I'm like, oh yeah, we didn't do this, which is quick plugs. So,
Oh.
Mike, if people enjoyed our conversation, what's the best place for them to find you?
Find me at Plat 2. You could follow the other shows, the SP Podcasting Network. I currently host 4 of them right now. I've
Busy.
got a mix CD, Family Movie Night, SPDM TV, Sports Ball, and recently. And then you could follow my other show with friend of the show, Nick Farrow, Geek Speak.
Mm-hmm. Shane?
This is actually more condensed than it used to be. But, and that's okay because I needed it. But you
Yes.
can head over to the Wasteland Reviewer YouTube channel where I review all types of new movies. And I will now have one weekly show, Welcome to the Wasteland, doing my director series. I have a handful of shows over on the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network, including this one. And thank you. Thank you for the platform. And I do write for sifpop.com and occasionally pop up on the writer's room. I write for Knock on Wood Film with Less Than the Wasteland each month. And I have my website, thewastelandreviewer.blog, where I do now 4 monthly articles. And basically, I just write reviews for wide releases, trying to limit myself a little bit. And then, you could check out my Instagram where I shamelessly throw around whatever I'm doing and some reels on a daily basis. And I have my letterbox too. I was thinking about writing reviews again after I had
Yes.
a bit of an incident with
Disney.
a studio who I will not mention.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
But yeah, so there you go.
Not school?
I actually stopped
Oh.
because it was a lot of effort
Mm.
and I had one paid subscriber and I was
Mm.
like netting a tiny loss every. So
Fair.
it is what it is. It probably wasn't the best time to try to do that. I wasn't really getting traction, but I might release those videos on my YouTube channel at some point.
Mhm. Yeah.
Learn a little bit about some genres and early cinema.
Mhm.
And if you do love the history of cinema and want to learn more about it with 3 guys unhinged commentary about it, you should check out the Cinematic Wasteland here on the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network. Shameless plugs all around.
Yes.
Boom.
And
Boom.
for me, as always, in movies lost on Letterboxd here every other Friday, or Wasteland retrospective every third Thursday, and the Cinematic Wasteland with Shane and Adam every month.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as Shane pointed out, we are part of SPDM Crew, and Mike is our boss. So here's that. And until next time, bye bye.